Chapter 317. Maldini Jr. took a sip of his coffee and licked his lips. The world-famous financial magnate, the little god of wealth admired by thousands of people, seemed a little nervous at the moment. After a pause, he said, "Mr. Medical Sage, what do you think about the investment cooperation?" "I can think about it. When I'm ready to enter the European and American markets, we can talk about the cooperation in detail." Qin Haodong looked at him playfully and said, "Mr. Maldini Jr., you don't just want to talk to me about this, do you?" He could tell that the foreigner had something that he couldn't say, and it seemed to be related to his illness. Maldini Jr. was nervous and a little embarrassed. He said, "Mr. Medical Sage, I want to tell you about my illness, which is also the main purpose of my trip to Huaxia." He had been suffering from a hidden disease for years, but he had not been treated well. Some time ago, Qin Haodong cured old Maldini's brain tumor with acupuncture. When he went back, he persuaded his son to come to Huaxia for treatment. At that time, Maldini Jr. did not believe in traditional Chinese medicine and thought it was impossible. It was not until a few days ago that the blood revival elixir was officially on the market. Maldini Jr. sent someone to learn more about the situation and confirmed that Qin Haodong had developed a medicine that could completely cure leukemia. Then, he believed in traditional Chinese medicine and his medical skills, and immediately set off for Huaxia to seek treatment. "What's wrong with you?" Qin Haodong asked. "Well, I heard that traditional Chinese medicine has a magical way to know the disease by touching the wrist. I don't know if it's true." Maldini Jr. did not directly answer Qin Haodong's question. "Of course it's true. Traditional Chinese medicine pays attention to look, listen, question and feel the pulse. Can you feel my pulse?" "Of course." Qin Haodong reached out and put his hand on his pulse. In fact, he had already seen through Maldini Jr.'s condition. He just wanted to make a joke with him. After feeling the pulse, he was more sure of his opinion. The reason why Maldini Jr. was embarrassed to talk about it was that he suffered from a serious male disease. In the Huaxia proverb, it was called natural impotence. Since he was born, he had not played any other role except to pee. No wonder Lin Momo said that he was not married and had not had any scandals over the years. How could there be scandals under such circumstances? With his status, he must have pursued a lot of women over the years. However, the more women he pursued, the heavier his psychological burden would be. Not to mention flirting with the female assistant, Alice, Maldini Jr. wouldn't even look at her if she took off her clothes. After understanding the situation, Qin Haodong withdrew his hand. Maldini Jr. became more nervous and asked, "Medical Sage, how is my illness?" Over the years, he had secretly visited famous doctors all over the world, but there was no effect. The results of the hospital's examination showed that there was no problem with his physiological development, which made him very angry. If there was no problem, why couldn't the second master raise his head in front of women? Qin Haodong was very fond of this enthusiastic and straightforward foreigner, so he didn't embarrass him. He said, "I already know your condition. Western medicine can't do anything about it. Only traditional Chinese medicine can help you." "Medical Sage, do you mean that you can cure my illness?" Although he came to Huaxia to seek medical treatment this time, he was also full of fear. At this moment, when he heard Qin Haodong said that his disease could be cured, his voice trembled with excitement. There's a saying in traditional Chinese medicine that prescribes the right medicine. As long as the cause of your disease is found, it will only take a few minutes to cure it. Qin Haodong said as he took out the needle bag, "Don't worry. I'll make you a peerless man in 10 minutes. It turned out that the reason why Maldini Jr. had a male dysfunction was that the meridian connecting the second master to the kidney was congenitally blocked. Without the nourishment of the kidney qi, the second master naturally couldn't raise his head. A male dysfunction caused by such a cause could not be cured by Western medicine. Even if it was a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, only Qin Haodong, who had mastered the rejuvenating acupuncture method, could cure it. 10 minutes later, Qin Haodong withdrew all the silver needles in Maldini Jr.'s waist and asked, "How do you feel now?" "My waist feels warm and comfortable. But it's still not enough, Maldini Jr. said with a little nervousness. Don't worry, there's one last step left, Qin Haodong said as he patted the Shenshu acupoint on the back of his waist and injected a wisp of green wood genuine qi into it. In an instant, Maldini Jr.'s meridian, which had been blocked for more than 30 years, was instantly unblocked. The second master, who was naturally relieved, instantly stood up with his head held high and chest out. Feeling this unprecedented change, Maldini Jr. suddenly became extremely excited. He cried with tears streaming down his face. I'm fine. I'm standing up. I finally stand up. He had hundreds of millions of yuan and countless beautiful women around him. But he could only look at them but not touch them. Only he knew this kind of pain. Now his disease had been completely cured, and he could finally hold his head up high in the future. Qin Haodong patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, Mr. Maldini Jr., your disease has been completely cured. I wish you happiness tonight. After that, he knocked on the door of another room and left the hotel with Lin Momo, leaving the remaining space for Maldini Jr. and Alice. As Qin Haodong walked, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He believed that Maldini Jr. would finally be able to hold his head high tonight. He could even hear Alice's scream. After getting in the car, Lin Momo asked, Haodong, what's going on? Why is Maldini Jr. being so secretive? Does he have something important to tell you? Qin Haodong told her about the process of the treatment and said, Now you know why he has no girlfriend and no scandal, right? This news still surprised Lin Momo. She didn't expect that a billionaire would have such an unspeakable secret. Qin Haodong said with a smile. In fact, sometimes happiness is around you. What you think is very ordinary is what others desperately want. So we should go back and cherish our happy life. After that, he reached out and patted Lin Momo's thigh, giving her a meaningful look. You're so annoying. Lin Momo certainly knew what Qin Haodong was thinking, and a touch of red floated over her face. Then she thought of something. She sighed again and said angrily, Poor Xiao Xiao. She waited for that bastard for 5 years, but she didn't expect him to be an ungrateful wolf. Xiao Xiao is indeed a bit pitiful, but we are all adults. We choose our own path, so we can't blame others. That bastard Wang Desheng is to blame. Xiao Xiao is so good to him. And the Wang family also started with Xiao Xiao's father, but he turned around and ran to chase me. I really don't know if his head has been kicked by a donkey. Qin Haodong said, Momo, calm down and think about it. Wang Desheng's pursuit of you is not that simple. Not simple? Lin Momo was a very smart woman. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been the president of Lin's group at such a young age. She just lost her mind because of anger. After calming down and thinking for a few minutes, she said, Now that you mention it, I also feel that something is wrong. Wang Desheng has never shown any affection for me before. And now he suddenly runs out to pursue me. It's a bit unusual. Moreover, he knows very well that Xiao Xiao and I are best friends. Even if he wants to chase a woman, he shouldn't chase me. Qin Haodong said, So I think Wang Desheng is very suspicious. Lin Momo thought for a moment and said, Does this have anything to do with the blood revival elixir? It's very likely, Qin Haodong said. As you said, Wang Desheng doesn't show much affection for you. But now he suddenly came to confess in public. This is definitely not normal. Moreover, the current time is very special. Our blood revival elixir has just come on the market, which has attracted the attention of many people. In addition, he came back from M country, which can't help but make people suspicious. Lin Momo's face changed as she said, You mean he has something to do with Wilson's company? This is just a possibility. I can't be completely sure. After all, the blood revival elixir is a golden goose that can lay golden eggs and attract wealth in the eyes of many people. Therefore, Wilson's company may not be the only one watching us. There may be other hidden enemies. He thought for a moment and said, It can be seen that Wang Desheng knows nothing about traditional Chinese medicine, which shows that he doesn't like traditional Chinese medicine. Now he suddenly returned to China to invest in traditional Chinese medicine and set up the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Even if he didn't come for our formula, he must have been stimulated by the blood revival elixir, and wanted to get a share of the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Now that you mention it, I remember that Wang Desheng really doesn't believe in traditional Chinese medicine. When he was in college, he made many remarks against traditional Chinese medicine in student union activities. Now he suddenly wants to invest in traditional Chinese medicine. It's indeed a bit abnormal, Lin Momo said. What are you going to do? Qin Haodong said. Let's wait and see. No matter what his purpose is, whether he likes traditional Chinese medicine or wants to get a share of the traditional Chinese medicine industry, as long as it is good for traditional Chinese medicine, I will welcome it. If it is bad for traditional Chinese medicine, then don't blame me. Speaking of this, his eyes became extremely fierce. Traditional Chinese medicine was now weak, and no one was allowed to be bad for traditional Chinese medicine. In the Wang family's villa, Wang Haiding and his son returned to their respective rooms with depressed expressions. After returning from the club, Wang Desheng had been very disappointed. However, when he closed the door, his expression immediately changed. The disappointment was swept away, as if he had become a different person. After confirming that the door was locked, he took out a separate mobile phone from the drawer and dialed a series of phone numbers. After the phone was connected, someone on the other side asked, "How's it going?" "It's not going very well. There have been some changes," Wang Desheng said. "Originally, I wanted to drive a wedge between Qin Haodong and Lin Momo by pursuing her, but now it seems that it won't work." "Why? With your charm for women, Lin Momo should be interested. As long as she is interested, Qin Haodong will naturally be dissatisfied with her," Wang Desheng said. "It's different this time. Not only is Lin Momo not interested in me at all, but she also resents me because of my ex-girlfriend. Moreover, Qin Haodong is very calm, as if he is very confident in Lin Momo. He doesn't show any signs of jealousy. It doesn't matter. Driving a wedge between them is not too important in our overall plan." The other side asked again, "How is the establishment of the Hall of Medical Fame going?" "It's just passable. It has been officially established, but I didn't expect Qin Haodong to be the president of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Because of him, nearly half of the famous doctors in Huaxia refused to join the Hall of Medical Fame. This damn guy is really a stumbling block for us," Wang Desheng said. "Qin Haodong is really a troublemaker. Because of him, the cooperation with Midas Investment Company has also changed. Maldini Jr. clearly refused to cooperate with me. If he wants to invest in the factory, he needs to solve the problem of funds again." Chapter 318. The person on the other side of the phone said, "It's nothing. We don't lack money. The reason why I asked you to contact Maldini Jr. was to deceive people. Since it doesn't work, our own investment company can do it. What you need to do now is to build the Hall of Medical Fame and the traditional Chinese medicine factory as soon as possible and speed up our plan. As for Qin Haodong, you'd better get the formula. If you can't get it, at least destroy Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company." Wang Desheng said respectfully, "Got it, boss. I'll work hard." After hanging up the phone, he took out a cigarette and started smoking. 5 minutes later, he put it out and picked up his cell phone to dial a number. After a busy day, Che Xiaoxiao returned to her room, took off her clothes and walked into the bathroom. After taking a shower, she dried her body with a bath towel. Looking at her beautiful face and sexy body in the mirror, she couldn't help but sigh. She had been waiting for 5 years. She didn't know when that man would come back. Did she have to wait until she looked old? Just as she was sighing, the phone on the bed suddenly rang. It was so late. Normally, no one would call. Was something wrong? She wrapped her body in a bath towel and walked over. When she saw the phone number on the phone, she trembled. The number had been unreachable for a long time, but it suddenly called today. She was surprised, happy, and wronged. "Desheng, is that you?" Che Xiaoxiao's voice was trembling. "Xiaoxiao, it's me. I'm back." Wang Desheng's magnetic voice came from the phone. "Desheng, is this true? I'm not dreaming, am I?" Che Xiaoxiao choked and cried. "Of course it's true. I promised you that I would come back, and I will fulfill my promise." Che Xiaoxiao cried for a long time and then said, It's been so long. Why didn't you call me? Why did you leave me waiting alone? Didn't I tell you that I was receiving special training in M country? During this period, I can't contact my family, no matter how close they are. Well, where are you? I'll come to see you right away. I've been waiting for 5 years. I can't wait for a quarter of an hour. Xiao Xiao, thank you for your hard work. I'll go find you now. Desheng, come here quickly. I want to see you right away. Che Xiaoxiao said excitedly. Don't worry, we'll be there soon. Wang Desheng hung up the phone and drove away from the Wang's villa. 10 minutes later, he appeared in Che Xiaoxiao's room with a smile. Grand completion. Che Xiaoxiao threw herself into his arms. Although she had 1,000 words in her heart, they all turned into tears and flowed down her cheeks uncontrollably. Xiaoxiao, I am back. Wang Desheng raised his hand to wipe the tears from the corners of Che Xiaoxiao's eyes and said gently, You've lost weight, but you've become more beautiful. Desheng, you're finally back. Do you know how much I've missed you in the past 5 years? Che Xiaoxiao said with tears in her eyes. I miss you too. You are the woman I love the most. As he spoke, Wang Desheng picked Che Xiaoxiao up and walked to the big bed inside. Early the next morning, the sun rose from the east, and the sunlight shone through the window onto the big bed in the room. Che Xiaoxiao held Wang Desheng's arm tightly, her face full of satisfaction and happiness. Wang Desheng kissed Che Xiaoxiao's forehead and said, Okay, it's time to get up. Che Xiaoxiao said coquettishly, I won't get up. I want to be with you like this forever. Xiaoxiao, I came back to start a business this time. Why don't you come and help me? Okay, as long as I can see you every day, I'll do anything. Che Xiaoxiao agreed without hesitation. Are you willing to give up your current job? Looking at Wang Desheng's handsome face, Che Xiaoxiao said with an infatuated expression, Of course, I'm willing to give up my life for you. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Wang Desheng showed a charming smile and said, I'm going to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I'll set up a traditional Chinese medicine company and a hall of medical fame. You are my woman. In order to make up for what I owe you all these years, I'm going to let you be the legal representative of both industries. Che Xiaoxiao was moved. She held his arm and said, Desheng, you don't have to. I don't want any compensation. I just want to be with you. No, I have to show my sincerity. Wang Desheng said sincerely. Wang Desheng said sincerely, You resign today, and then we'll go through the legal person procedures. Okay, I'll call the boss now. Che Xiaoxiao touched the mobile phone on the bedside table and directly dialed the phone number of the boss of the Jiangnan Hotel. Che Xiaoxiao had performed very well over the years. The boss hadn't expected her to suddenly resign. He kept trying to persuade her to stay, and even offered to double her salary. However, Che Xiaoxiao was very determined and eventually resigned as the general manager. After hanging up the phone, she hugged Wang Desheng and said coquettishly, Okay, now I don't have a job. I want you to support me for the rest of my life. You'll soon be the big boss of 2 companies. I want you to support me in the future, Wang Desheng said. Let's go have breakfast now and then go through the procedures. I've been interested in a traditional Chinese medicine company that's being auctioned these days. The price has been negotiated. Let's go through the transfer procedures today. Che Xiaoxiao said. Do you have to be so anxious? I want you to accompany me today. Of course I'm anxious. This is our first business. Time is money. We must hurry up and do it well. After breakfast, Che Xiaoxiao and Wang Desheng went through the procedures of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and the traditional Chinese medicine factory. Because the preliminary work had been done, they were very fast and finished near noon. The registration of the Hall of Medical Fame was completed, and the traditional Chinese medicine factory was renamed the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame Traditional Chinese Medicine Factory. The 2 industrial and commercial licenses were written in Che Xiaoxiao's name. Holding the 2 industrial and commercial licenses in her arms, Che Xiaoxiao's heart was full of emotion. She didn't care much about money, but Wang Desheng had handed over 2 companies to her, which was enough to show his feelings for her. Desheng, you really don't have to do this. You paid for it. You should be the boss. I just need to work for you. Wang Desheng said. What are you talking about? You're my woman. Of course you're the boss's wife. I should work for you for the rest of my life. Che Xiaoxiao said with a happy face. Well, what's mine is yours anyway. Wang Desheng said. It's almost noon. Let's ask Momo out for lunch. Okay. I also want to ask Momo out. I'll tell her the good news that you're back, so she won't always say that I've been cheated by you. Che Xiaoxiao took out her cell phone and excitedly dialed Lin Momo's number. At Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, Maldini Jr. came to say goodbye to Qin Haodong and Lin Momo near noon. Today, he looked like a different person from yesterday. His eyebrows were full of excitement, and Alice was clinging to his arm like a little bird. Mr. Medical Sage, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm cured. I'm completely cured. Qin Haodong said jokingly. Mr. Maldini Jr., you didn't just get up, did you? Well, he said with a little embarrassment. I did get up a little late. Qin Haodong whispered in his ear. Tell me the truth. How many times did you do it last night? Maldini Jr. first stretched out his left hand, then 2 fingers of his right hand. With an expression that only men could understand, he said, Mr. Medical Sage, after living for more than 30 years, I didn't know that being a man could be so good. Not bad. Not bad. Qin Haodong patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile. 7 times in one night. Maldini Jr. said, Mr. Medical Sage, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. From now on, you'll be my lifelong friend. If you need anything, just tell me. I'll definitely do anything for my friend. He was really grateful to Qin Haodong from the bottom of his heart. If it weren't for this young man from Huaxia, he would never know what a man was in his life. He was afraid that he would never be able to raise his head. He also offered to pay $100 million for the treatment, but Qin Haodong refused. Maldini Jr. had already donated $100 million to the Chinese Medicine Association. This foreigner was a good person, so Qin Haodong was willing to help him. After chatting for a while, he officially said goodbye to Qin Haodong. Mr. Medical Sage, we're going back to M Country now. You're welcome to visit M Country when you have time. Are you in such a hurry? Why don't you have lunch before you go? Qin Haodong warmly asked him to stay. I won't have lunch. I still have a lot of things to deal with in M Country. See you later. As the president of Midas, Maldini Jr. did have a lot of things to deal with. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was very busy every day. Now that his illness had been cured, he immediately took his private plane back to M Country. After seeing off Maldini Jr. and the others, Lin Momo returned to the president's office and said, Haodong, do you think I should call Xiaoxiao and tell her that Wang Desheng is back? She had been struggling with this question for a long time. She didn't know whether she should call Che Xiaoxiao or not. If she didn't tell her, she would feel sorry for her best friend. If she told the truth, she was afraid that it would hurt Che Xiaoxiao. Qin Haodong said, I think you'd better not call her. What will you say if you call her? Will you say that Wang Desheng confessed to you in public? This will not only increase Che Xiaoxiao's pain, but I'm afraid you won't even be able to be friends. But if I don't say it, Xiaoxiao may wait for the rest of her life. But you said that she may suffer for the rest of her life. It can only be her misfortune to meet a man like Wang Desheng. While they were talking, Lin Momo's cell phone suddenly rang. She took it and looked at it. It turned out to be Che Xiaoxiao's phone number. She said nervously, It's Xiaoxiao. What should I do? Qin Haodong said, Answer it first. All right then. Lin Momo pressed the answer button. Before she could think about what to say, Che Xiaoxiao on the other side of the phone shouted excitedly, Momo, I have good news for you. What good news? Lin Momo secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She had just thought that Che Xiaoxiao had heard about Wang Desheng's confession to her. Fortunately, that terrible thing had not happened. Desheng is back. My Desheng is finally back. Che Xiaoxiao shouted excitedly. Really? Congratulations to you. Lin Momo's reaction was very calm, but Che Xiaoxiao, who was excited, did not notice it. She continued to say, Momo, I really feel so happy. Desheng said that we should have lunch together at noon. We haven't seen each other for a long time. Do you have time? Okay. Although Lin Momo did not want to see Wang Desheng again, She could not bear to refuse when she saw Che Xiaoxiao so excited, so she agreed. Well, remember to bring your little doctor. See you at the Jiangnan Hotel, Che Xiaoxiao said and hung up the phone. Lin Momo looked back at Qin Haodong and said, Wang Desheng asked Xiaoxiao to call us and ask us to have lunch together. I don't know what he is doing. Chapter 319. Qin Haodong said indifferently, Who cares? Since you've agreed, let's go and have a look. As long as I'm here, Wang Desheng won't be able to cause any trouble. Lin Momo nodded and said, This bastard just confessed his love to me. Why is he with Xiaoxiao again? I really don't know what he's doing. I'm worried that he'll hurt Xiaoxiao again. Don't guess. We'll know what's going on when we get there. Maybe he changed his mind after being rejected and found his conscience. He'll be with Xiaoxiao wholeheartedly in the future. That's impossible. Dogs can't stop eating shit. I've seen through Wang Desheng. He's just using Xiaoxiao. Lin Momo said, I just don't understand. Now that Xiaoxiao's father is dead, what else can he use? Let's go and have a look. If there's a suitable opportunity, remind Xiaoxiao. Qin Haodong took Lin Momo's hand and walked out of the door with her. At the same time that Che Xiaoxiao called Lin Momo, Wang Desheng also received a call from Wang Daji. Wang Daji asked, Brother, where are you? Wang Desheng said, I'm outside. What's the matter? I have a picture of Qin Haodong with another woman. I forgot to take it out yesterday. Do you think it's useful? Wang Desheng's face lit up and he said, It's useful. Send it to me as soon as possible. This gigolo has affairs with several women, including the girl from the Nailan family, and 2 women I don't know. Which one do you want? I want them all. The more the better. Send it to me as soon as possible. Wang Desheng said excitedly. He had wanted to drive a wedge between Lin Momo and Qin Haodong yesterday, but he had failed. He hadn't expected that his idiot brother would have such photos. It seemed that he still had a chance. Soon the photos were sent to him. Wang Desheng looked at them and couldn't help but feel a kind of uncontrollable jealousy. The photos Wang Daji had collected were very complete. There were photos of Nailan Wushuang, Nailan Wuxia, Qi Wan and Hu Xiaoxian. Any one of these women was a stunning beauty. They were smiling intimately with Qin Haodong. No wonder Wang Desheng was jealous. He had found many women in M country in the past few years, and there were many beautiful women among them. However, compared with these women, they were much worse. Desheng, what are you looking at? Che Xiaoxiao leaned over and asked. Wang Desheng suppressed his jealousy and put on a charming smile. He handed the phone to Che Xiaoxiao and said, Take a look and you'll know. Che Xiaoxiao took the phone and looked at the photo. She said in surprise, Isn't this the little Dr. Momo found? I didn't expect him to have so many women besides Momo. Wang Desheng said with a regretful expression. Yes, I didn't expect Momo to find such a playboy after so many years of not looking for a boyfriend. Che Xiaoxiao said, No, I have to show this to Momo, otherwise she must still be in the dark. Wang Desheng said pretentiously, This is her business. It's not good for us to interfere too much. What if Momo is willing? What are you talking about? Momo is my best friend. I have to tell her about this. Che Xiaoxiao suddenly came to her senses and asked, By the way, Desheng, where did you get these photos? You're not secretly following Momo, are you? Wang Desheng said, What kind of person do you think I am? I'm not that bored. Even if I wanted to find someone to follow, I would follow you, not Lin Momo. I don't need to follow you. You're the only man in my heart. Che Xiaoxiao kissed Wang Desheng on the cheek and asked, What's with these photos? How did you get them? Wang Desheng said, It's Daji. He doesn't stay at home all day and runs around. He knows that Qin Haodong is Momo's boyfriend. Later, he saw Qin Haodong with another woman. He had nothing to do, so he hired a private detective to follow them and take so many photos. Daji is afraid that Momo will be cheated. He knows that we are classmates, so he just sent the photos to me and asked me to give them to Momo. But I don't want to do that. After all, it's her privacy. No, I have to tell Momo. Che Xiaoxiao didn't see that Wang Desheng was playing hard to get. In fact, he just wanted to send these photos to Lin Momo through her. Wang Desheng said reluctantly, Well, tell her if you insist. But don't drag me into it. Don't tell her that I gave you these photos. Okay, I won't tell her. Che Xiaoxiao said. I'll show these photos to Momo in private. No matter what, I have to let her know. She can't be cheated and be a fool. While talking, they arrived at the Jiangnan Hotel and booked a private room. Soon Lin Momo and Qin Haodong came in. Momo, you're here. When Che Xiaoxiao saw Lin Momo, she immediately came over and held her arm. Then she introduced Qin Haodong and Wang Desheng to each other. This is my boyfriend Wang Desheng, and this is Momo's boyfriend Qin Haodong. Wang Desheng and Qin Haodong looked at each other. They both pretended that they didn't know each other, and politely reached out their hands to shake hands. Sit down, everyone. Che Xiaoxiao asked them to sit down. Then she sat down close to Wang Desheng. The two of them interlocked their fingers with happy smiles on their faces. Lin Momo sighed secretly. Her good sister had completely fallen. It was impossible to expect her to wake up. She only hoped that Wang Desheng would stop being extreme and smile at Che Xiaoxiao. After ordering the food and wine, Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo, Desheng came back from M country this time because he wants to expand the traditional Chinese medicine industry. In the future, you will be the bosses of the traditional Chinese medicine industry and business partners. Women always couldn't help showing off, especially when their lover was good to them. Che Xiaoxiao took out the 2 industrial and commercial licenses that she had just obtained and said to Lin Momo, Momo, look, these are the 2 enterprises that Desheng has just set up. One is the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, and the other is the Hall of Medical Fame's traditional Chinese medicine factory. So fast. Lin Momo was slightly surprised. She knew that Wang Desheng was going to set up the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, but she hadn't expected that the factory would be built so soon. Che Xiaoxiao said proudly, Yes, Desheng is efficient in everything he does. This traditional Chinese medicine factory was just acquired by him. The equipment in the factory is very complete, and it can start production right away. Lin Momo looked at the industrial and commercial licenses and asked in surprise, Xiaoxiao, why are the legal representatives all in your name? Well, Desheng said that I had waited for him for 5 years, and in order to compensate me, he put the 2 enterprises under my name. In fact, I said that it was not necessary, but he insisted on doing so. Che Xiaoxiao's face was full of happiness as she spoke. It had cost more than 300 million yuan to buy this traditional Chinese medicine factory, and he had put such a large amount of assets under her name. It could be seen that Wang Desheng loved her deeply. Lin Momo was very confused. A few minutes ago, she had speculated that Wang Desheng was using Che Xiaoxiao, but she couldn't understand why Wang Desheng would put hundreds of millions of assets under Che Xiaoxiao's name. Did he really find his conscience? Qin Haodong said, Xiaoxiao, now that you're the boss, will you still do the work of dreamy Jiangnan? Che Xiaoxiao said, No, I resigned from the boss this morning. From now on, I'll start a business with Desheng. If he gets rich, I'll get rich. If he begs, I'll beg. Wang Desheng said, Don't worry, Xiaoxiao. I won't let you beg with me even if I have to sell my 2 kidneys. His words were soft and sweet. If she hadn't experienced it herself, she wouldn't have thought that this man had just confessed to another woman last night. Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo, you're a female entrepreneur, and Haodong is an expert in traditional Chinese medicine. We're newcomers in this industry. You have to teach us more in the future. You can't hide anything. While they were talking, the waiter had already brought up the wine and dishes. They ate and chatted. The atmosphere at the table seemed very harmonious under Che Xiaoxiao's leadership. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 dishes, Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo, I'm going to the bathroom to fix my makeup. Come with me. Okay, I'll go with you. Lin Momo also wanted to find a chance to persuade Che Xiaoxiao, so she left the room with her. After they left, Qin Haodong glanced at Wang Desheng and asked, Master Wang, what are you playing at? Wang Desheng smiled and said, I don't know what you want to ask. Qin Haodong said sarcastically, Last night you just pursued Momo, and today you're with Xiaoxiao. Your emotions change really fast. It's nothing. It's easy to understand. Wang Desheng said sarcastically. Wang Desheng said, "After yesterday's failure, I realized that Che Xiaoxiao loves me the most, so I chose to be with her and will cherish her for the rest of my life." "Do you think I'll believe that?" Qin Haodong sneered. Wang Desheng didn't care at all. He said lightly, "It's up to you whether you believe it or not. I really think so. Otherwise, why would I put so many industries under Xiaoxiao's name? Although our Wang family is rich, such a big industry is not a small amount. I wouldn't joke about it." Although Qin Haodong suspected Wang Desheng, he couldn't refute him for a while. He said, "Let's not talk about Xiaoxiao first. Did you really come back to develop traditional Chinese medicine this time?" "Of course, I have to thank you. You showed me the value of the traditional Chinese medicine industry. The blood revival elixir is worth nearly 100 billion yuan. As a businessman, how can I not be jealous?" Qin Haodong looked directly at him and said, "I don't care if you use traditional Chinese medicine to make money, but if you do something harmful to traditional Chinese medicine, I will never forgive you." Wang Desheng laughed and said, "You're really suspicious. I want to use traditional Chinese medicine to make money. How could I do something harmful to traditional Chinese medicine? Wouldn't that be destroying my own job? As I said, although our Wang family is rich, it doesn't grow on trees. I've invested so much money, so I naturally want to earn it back quickly and seek greater profits." After a pause, he said, "In fact, you don't have to be so hostile to me. Although I pursued Momo yesterday, that's in the past. Now I love Xiaoxiao. I don't think we need to be enemies. On the contrary, we can be partners. Now my Hall of Medical Fame is recruiting famous doctors from all over the world. Your medical skills are good, so come to me. With your title as the medical sage, I can let you be the head of the Hall of Medical Fame. You can ask for anything. I can even accept an annual salary of tens of millions." "Sorry, I'm not interested. Money is not very attractive to me," Qin Haodong said. "Although we are both in the traditional Chinese medicine industry, the essence is different. You want to use traditional Chinese medicine to make money, while I want to develop and expand the traditional Chinese medicine industry. We have different principles and cannot make plans together." Wang Desheng didn't seem surprised by this result. He shook his head and said, "It's a pity that I can't cooperate with the medical sage." Chapter 320. Meanwhile, Lin Momo and Che Xiaoxiao walked out of the bathroom and entered an empty private room. Lin Momo said, "Xiaoxiao, I don't think you should be with Wang Desheng anymore. He's really unreliable." Che Xiaoxiao said, "Momo, I've told you that you're prejudiced against Desheng. You used to say that he was lying to me and wouldn't come back. Now he's back to fulfill his promise, isn't he? Desheng said that I'm the only woman he loves. I think it's true." Lin Momo was speechless, but she couldn't tell her best friend about Wang Desheng's confession last night. "Xiaoxiao, why can't you see it? Wang Desheng has been using you all this time." "Using me?" Che Xiaoxiao giggled and said, "I'm all alone now. My parents are dead and my family is in decline. I don't have money to cheat, but I'm willing to cheat. What else can he use me for? Besides, Desheng registered hundreds of millions of assets under my name. How could he use me like that?" From the bottom of her heart, Lin Momo always felt that Wang Desheng was not reliable, but she couldn't find a reason to refute him. She really didn't understand why Wang Desheng registered hundreds of millions of assets under Che Xiaoxiao's name. "Momo, I know you're doing this for my own good, but Desheng is absolutely sincere to me. I can feel that myself." Che Xiaoxiao said, "Momo, I don't think the little doctor is very suitable for you. He's really good and excellent, but he's too much of a playboy." As she spoke, she took out her mobile phone and showed Lin Momo the photos she had received from Wang Desheng. "You see, Momo, he's not just with you. There are several other women out there." Che Xiaoxiao said as she flipped through the photos, "I have to say that the little doctor is really capable. The women he finds are more beautiful than the other. I really don't know how he got them." Then she looked at Lin Momo. She thought that her best friend would be furious when she saw these intimate photos. Unexpectedly, Lin Momo said calmly, "I know these people, and I know their relationship with Haodong, but I don't care." Che Xiaoxiao cried in surprise. Ah? Momo, are you crazy? Or was he drugged by that little doctor? I'm neither crazy nor drugged. Lin Momo said. Haodong absolutely loves me. He's willing to sacrifice everything for me, including his life. I think that's enough for a woman. Nothing else matters. All right, as long as you don't feel wronged. Che Xiaoxiao shook her head as she spoke, indicating that she did not understand. You used to call me stupid, but now it seems that you're even more stupid than I am. Lin Momo smiled helplessly. She knew that neither of them could convince the other. Only time would tell whose choice was right. When the four of them sat down at the table again, they felt that the atmosphere had changed a little. Che Xiaoxiao was not as excited as before, and seemed a little depressed. Wang Desheng said to Che Xiaoxiao, Xiaoxiao, let's call it a day. There will be a press conference at 2 p.m. on the establishment of the Hall of Medical Fame. We have to go back early to prepare. As the president, you have a speech. Che Xiaoxiao nodded and said to Lin Momo and Qin Haodong, let's call it a day. We'll get together another day. The four of them left the hotel together and got into their respective cars. Lin Momo said to Qin Haodong, what do you think Wang Desheng is planning? How can she be true to Xiaoxiao? Qin Haodong said, it doesn't seem like it, but I can't figure out what the problem is. Yes, Wang Desheng is very selfish. He has always been using Xiaoxiao. This time, he suddenly put the assets of the enterprise under Xiaoxiao's name. It's really hard to understand. Qin Haodong said, don't think about it if you can't understand it. After a long time, the fox's tail will show sooner or later. Lin Momo sighed and said, in fact, I hope he really wants to be good to Xiaoxiao. That girl is pitiful enough now. Qin Haodong said, Xiaoxiao found you outside because she has something to say to you, right? Lin Momo said, she showed me a lot of photos of you with Wan and Wushuang. There were photos of Xiaoxian, Wushuang, Wuxia and Wan. She also advised me to stay away from you. Ah, Qin Haodong smiled awkwardly. This girl, she even took photos of me. I know Xiaoxiao. She definitely didn't take the photos. She just wanted to remind me not to be fooled by a gigolo like you. Lin Momo gave Qin Haodong a charming look, but she held his arm tighter. Qin Haodong said, since it wasn't Xiaoxiao, it must be Wang Desheng's doing. It seems that this guy still hasn't given up on you. Who knows? When I was in school, I felt that Wang Desheng was too scheming. Now I can't see through him. Qin Haodong said, I didn't expect him to set up the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and the traditional Chinese medicine factory so quickly. I really don't understand what he wants to do. Is it just to make money? Lin Momo said with some uncertainty, it's hard to say. Maybe the Wang family is jealous of our blood revival elixir and wants to make a fortune in the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Qin Haodong said, I still think it's not that simple. Wang Desheng is probably plotting something. Lin Momo said, that's unlikely. The Wang family has also invested a lot of money this time. It's impossible that they don't want to make money. Moreover, no matter how insidious Wang Desheng is, what kind of conspiracy can he make? Do you think that their Chinese medicine factory can affect us? Qin Haodong said, I can't see through it. Anyway, it's right to be careful. While they were talking about Wang Desheng and Che Xiaoxiao were also talking about them. Xiaoxiao, have you shown the photos to Momo? I don't think she has any reaction. Che Xiaoxiao said, I've shown it to her, and I've told her everything. But Momo is really stupid. She said she knew the relationship between Qin Haodong and these women, but she didn't care. Wang Desheng was slightly stunned at first, then he felt a burst of jealousy. How could Qin Haodong make Lin Momo love him so much that she would even share a man with other women? What's wrong with you? Che Xiaoxiao looked at Wang Desheng and asked. Nothing. Wang Desheng quickly returned to normal and said, I'm just surprised by Momo's attitude. Yes, I'm also surprised. Momo always said I was stupid, but I didn't expect her to be more stubborn than me. Che Xiaoxiao said, Momo also advised me to be careful of you. She said that you might be using me. Wang Desheng's expression changed slightly as he said, what did you say? Do you believe Momo? Momo is my best friend. Of course I believe what she says. Che Xiaoxiao stuck out her tongue and said, but I thought about it. You can lie to me all you want. Anyway, I don't have money now, so it's not a big deal to lie to you. I'll just take it as finding a prostitute for free. Then she giggled again, obviously not listening to Lin Momo's words at all. Wang Desheng's eyes flashed with imperceptible pride as he said, hurry up and get ready. Our press conference is about to begin. I've invited a lot of reporters from the media. Che Xiaoxiao said, it doesn't matter. As long as you're by my side, I'm not afraid of anything. At 2:00 in the afternoon, Wang Desheng and Che Xiaoxiao held their first press conference in the newly purchased traditional Chinese medicine factory. In addition to the two of them, Fu Hailong, the head of Xuanhu House, and Lu Baiquan, the head of Jishir Tang, were also on the rostrum. The two old men with white hair and beards looked like famous doctors. Other Chinese medicine practitioners, who joined the Hall of Medical Fame, were also sitting in the audience. At the beginning of the press conference, Wang Desheng announced the official establishment of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and its traditional Chinese medicine factory. He asked Che Xiaoxiao to show the business licenses of the two companies to the reporters. Mr. Wang, I want to ask, since you invested in the traditional Chinese medicine industry, why is Miss Che the legal person of these two companies? Wang Desheng glanced at Che Xiaoxiao, and they smiled at each other. Then he said to the reporters, Xiaoxiao is the person I love most, and will be my wife in the future. What's mine is hers. It makes no difference whether the legal person of the two companies is me or her. Another reporter asked, Mr. Wang, as far as I know, Haitian Group's main business was real estate and finance. Why did you suddenly enter the traditional Chinese medicine industry? Wang Desheng said, although I've been wandering abroad for 5 years, I feel that my roots are still in Huaxia. So I've been thinking about how to come back and contribute to my motherland. Suddenly, I found that the traditional Chinese medicine industry is a good choice. It can promote Chinese culture and has great potential. Therefore, I decided to enter the traditional Chinese medicine industry. I want to make traditional Chinese medicine stronger and bigger. I want the whole world to see that traditional Chinese medicine in Huaxia is no worse than Western medicine. After his impassioned speech, there was a burst of warm applause. Mr. Wang, I want to ask, what is the main business of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame after its establishment? In what ways will it contribute to the revitalization of traditional Chinese medicine? Wang Desheng said, the motto of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame is that doctors are benevolent and help the world. After the establishment of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, the main business is divided into 2 parts. One part is public welfare. We will hold large-scale free clinics in Jiangnan City to treat ordinary people who can't afford to see a doctor. At the same time, we will help people learn how to take care of themselves and improve their physical fitness through the opening of famous doctors' lectures in major media. In addition, I'm a businessman, and a businessman should think about how to make money. The other part of the business of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame is to develop the traditional Chinese medicine industry and strive to develop better drugs. While relieving people's pain, it can also bring huge profits to our group. Mr. Wang, is your investment in the traditional Chinese medicine industry related to the great success of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company? Will the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame develop traditional Chinese medicine that can compare with the blood revival elixir in the future? Wang Desheng said, I have been optimistic about the traditional Chinese medicine industry in recent years. It has been my dream for many years to revitalize traditional Chinese medicine. The reason why I entered the traditional Chinese medicine industry has nothing to do with others. Moreover, I am optimistic about the strength of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. The products developed by the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame will definitely not be inferior to the blood revival elixir of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. Mr. Wang, the blood revival elixir can completely cure leukemia. Are you really confident? Wang Desheng said confidently, Of course I am. You will soon see the success of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Mr. Wang, as far as I know, The one who developed the blood revival elixir is Dr. Qin Haodong, who is known as the medical sage in Jiangnan. Where does your confidence come from? Of course, my confidence comes from the famous doctors of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Wang Desheng raised his hand and pointed to the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners sitting in the audience and said, "All of you here are famous doctors hired by the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. As for whether they are better than the medical sage, time will tell us." Chapter 321. Although it was only a few words, the reporters had keenly sensed the tension in Wang Desheng's tone, which made them extremely excited. The establishment of Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was already the hottest news at the moment, and the establishment of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame could be said to have ignited another news point. If there were some sparks between the two news points, it would be a bigger news point, which was exactly what the reporters wanted. "Mr. Wang, I would like to ask if what you just said can be regarded as a challenge to Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company?" "Challenge?" Wang Desheng smiled disdainfully and said, "As far as I know, Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was only established a few days earlier than us. At present, they only have one product, the blood revival elixir. I really don't see anything worthy of our challenge. At most, they can be regarded as an industry competitor." "Mr. Wang, Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company has a master of traditional Chinese medicine like the medical sage. Because of the existence of Dr. Qin, everyone speculates that there will be other heavyweight products in the future." Che Xiaoxiao felt that Wang Desheng had gone too far, so she kept winking at him, but Wang Desheng ignored her. He continued, "The Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame doesn't have gimmicks like medical sage, medical king, or medical fairy, but we have many excellent traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame will hold a free clinic in the Health Square. You are welcome to witness the glory of our famous doctors." "Mr. Wang, the Jiangnan Traditional Chinese Medicine Association has just announced that there will be a free clinic in the Health Square at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. The Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame has chosen the same time and place as them. Is there any special meaning in this? In other words, are you trying to compete with the Chinese Medicine Association?" Wang Desheng smiled and said, "It's not as complicated as you think. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But when the time comes, everyone will know who is better and who is worse." Qin Haodong drove Lin Momo back to Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, and then drove to the Jiangnan Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. It had to be said that Gao Fengwen was quite efficient. After buying the primary school, he had already begun to plan to build a new office building. "President Qin, you're here." Upon seeing Qin Haodong, Gao Fengwen immediately invited him into the temporary office. Shen Xiangfu and Zhong Sihai were also there. Qin Haodong sat down and asked, "How's the preparation for tomorrow's free clinic?" Gao Fengwen said, "Everything is ready. All 78 members of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association will participate. The venue is the Health Square, which is in line with the theme of the free clinic. The time is set at 9 a.m. Not bad." Qin Haodong nodded. "How's the publicity going? Has the news spread?" Shen Xiangfu said, "The publicity is in place. Today, all the major media have published the news that our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is going to have a free clinic. At the same time, I also asked my disciples to publicize it on the internet. The effect is very good." While they were talking, a young man in his 20s ran in from outside with a mobile phone and shouted to Shen Xiangfu, "Master, something happened." Shen Xiangfu said with dissatisfaction, "What's the fuss? Can't you see the president is here?" The young man glanced at Qin Haodong and said awkwardly, "Master, Huaxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Practitioner just held a press conference. The guy named Wang Desheng said a lot of unfavorable things about our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. He also set the free clinic at 9 a.m. tomorrow in the Health Square. It's obvious that he wants to challenge us. Really? Shen Xiangfu said. Is there a video? Show it to us. Yes. The young man put the mobile phone on the table and pressed the play button. It happened to be the scene of Wang Desheng answering the questions of the reporters at the press conference. After watching it, Gao Fengwen slapped the table and said angrily, Wang Desheng is so shameless. I really don't know who gave him the courage to look down on the medical skills of the medical sage. Is there anyone in Huaxia who has better medical skills than the medical sage? Zhong Sihai also said, he's really arrogant. How dare he say that he has developed a medicine comparable to the blood revival elixir? How is that possible? Shen Xiangfu shook his head and said, he dares to talk nonsense. I can only say that the ignorant are fearless. This guy doesn't know what traditional Chinese medicine is at all, let alone the value of the blood revival elixir. Qin Haodong just smiled after watching the video. Wang Desheng was obviously venting his dissatisfaction at being rejected by him. Shen Xiangfu said, President, this guy is so disrespectful to you. How can you still smile? Qin Haodong smiled and said, it's nothing. In the end, traditional Chinese medicine still depends on ability. I hope he can do what he says and come up with some decent medicines to promote the influence of traditional Chinese medicine in society. Zhong Sihai said, it's too difficult. Except for you. No one has been able to develop a magic medicine like the blood revival elixir for so many years. It's even more impossible for a layman like him to do it. Qin Haodong said, I think it's good to set up a hall of medical fame. It will bring together good traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, so it's easier to give full play to everyone's wisdom. For example, our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. The collective strength is definitely much greater than that of an individual. Shen Xiangfu said, that's different. How can Wang Desheng's Hall of Medical Fame compare to our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association? We are dedicated to the development of traditional Chinese medicine. The president not only has excellent medical skills, but he has also donated $100 million to the association. Wang Desheng entered the traditional Chinese medicine industry just to make money. The two are different in nature. Shen Xiangfu said, it's not easy to take the road of industrialization of traditional Chinese medicine. There have been cases before, but they all failed. I don't understand why Wang Desheng, a layman, suddenly wants to invest in traditional Chinese medicine. Zhong Sihai said, why not? He must be jealous of the blood revival elixir. He thinks that if the president can set up Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, he can set up a Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. This kind of person only sees the success of others, but he can't see his own shortcomings. Qin Haodong said, I personally don't object to making money through the traditional Chinese medicine industry. It's also good for promoting traditional Chinese medicine. I'm just afraid that he will do something bad for traditional Chinese medicine. Gao Fengwen nodded and said, yes, I'm also afraid that he will do something bad for traditional Chinese medicine. Shen Xiangfu said, the most important thing is to prepare for tomorrow's free clinic. Our Chinese Medicine Association can't be defeated by the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Zhong Sihai said confidently, don't worry. Although Fu Hailong and Lu Baiquan are really good, we have the medical sage on our side. How can we lose to them? Gao Fengwen said, yes, Wang Desheng chose to hold a free clinic on the same day as us. He's asking to be humiliated. Qin Haodong said with a smile, it's good to be confident, but we still have to take it seriously. Let's get ready. The next morning, in the health square of Jiangnan City, the banner of the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Association was put up on the east side, and the sign of the Hall of Medical Fame was put up on the west side. Anyone could see that the east and the west side were obviously fighting. There were a total of 78 doctors of traditional Chinese medicine on Qin Haodong's side. Most of them were over 60 years old. If they insisted on a day of free medical treatment, they would certainly be exhausted in terms of physical strength. Therefore, Qin Haodong divided them into 39 groups of 2. Together with his own desk, there were a total of 40 desks. There was a similar number of doctors on the Hall of Medical Fame side, so the battle formation was basically the same. At 9 o'clock, the free clinic officially began. Because both sides had done enough publicity before, there were many patients who came to participate in the free clinic. Both the traditional Chinese Medicine Association and the Hall of Medical Fame were surrounded by patients who came to see a doctor. However, an embarrassing scene soon appeared. Gao Fengwen and Shen Xiangfu all had a long line, but there was no one at Qin Haodong's desk. It looked empty. It was no wonder that the other old Chinese medicine practitioners were all wearing long robes and had long eyebrows and beards. They looked very dignified. He was only about 20 years old, so he didn't look like a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. In addition, he had been afraid that it would be inconvenient for him to travel, so he had done some tricks when taking photos. He had cast a small illusion on his face, so no one had recognized him as the famous medical sage. Qin Haodong couldn't help but smile bitterly when he saw that everyone else was busy, and he was the only one who was free. Would he have to get a fake beard and stick it on in the future? Just then he heard someone shouting, Dr. Qin, I'm here." Qin Haodong looked up and saw Ma Sanbao leading a middle-aged man over. "Dr. Qin, this is a friend of mine. He has been suffering from leukemia for 2 or 3 years. This time, he came to Jiangnan City to buy the blood revival elixir, but he couldn't get it after waiting for a few days. Can you take a look at him? It would be best if you could sell him a blood revival elixir directly." Qin Haodong said, "Well, I'll take a look at him." As he spoke, Qin Haodong asked the middle-aged man to sit in front of his desk and began to feel his pulse. Soon, he withdrew his right hand and said, "In addition to leukemia, your liver is not very good. Well, I'll give you a prescription. After taking the blood revival elixir for 3 days, take the medicine according to this prescription. You will be cured in a week." He picked up a pen and paper, wrote a prescription, and gave it to the middle-aged man along with a box of blood revival elixir. He knew that he would definitely meet leukemia patients that day, so he had prepared some blood revival elixirs before coming. Now it was useful. "Thank you, Dr. Qin. Thank you so much." The middle-aged man gratefully took the prescription and the blood revival elixir. He took out a stack of bills and said, "Dr. Qin, how much do you need?" Qin Haodong said, "Today's free clinic is free. The blood revival elixir is a gift for you. Take it quickly." Since the blood revival elixir came out, the rule of sale was to take it on the spot and not take it away. "Well, thank you, Dr. Qin. Thank you very much. You are a living bodhisattva. I will set up a memorial tablet for you when I go home." The middle-aged man took the blood revival elixir after thanking him profusely. Then he left with the prescription. Before leaving, Ma Sanbao said to the onlookers, "What are you looking at? You're really blind. Don't you recognize that this is medical sage Qin Haodong?" There is no disease in this world that the medical sage can't cure. Hurry up to see a doctor. There will be no more shops like this if you miss this one. Only then did the others realize that this young man was the famous medical sage, Qin Haodong. "Oh my God, the medical sage is right in front of me, but I didn't recognize him. I want to see the medical sage." "Don't wait here. The medical sage is over there. What are you waiting for? The doctor who invented the blood revival elixir? My second uncle is worried about not being able to buy medicine. I'll go and line up for him now." After hearing that Qin Haodong was the medical sage, the surrounding patients immediately rushed over to line up like a swarm of bees. Those who were slower could only line up at the back. There was nothing in front of Qin Haodong just now, but in the blink of an eye, there was no end in sight. Chapter 322. Qin Haodong ignored Ma Sanbao and immediately began to busy himself. Although he was very fast, more and more patients came to see him after hearing the news. The queue in front of him was getting longer and longer. Soon, even the patients of the Hall of Medical Fame heard the news that the medical sage was seeing patients at the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. It didn't take long before there were only a few people left at the Hall of Medical Fame, while the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association was overcrowded. Looking at the empty queue in front of her and the sea of people at the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, Che Xiaoxiao said to Wang Desheng, "Desheng, it seems that our influence here is not enough." Wang Desheng looked calm and said, "Don't worry. Sometimes fame alone won't last long. You also need real ability." Che Xiaoxiao didn't quite understand what he meant, but she didn't care. After all, the patient had the right to choose. If they didn't come to see them, there was nothing they could do. As time went by, it was already noon. There were fewer and fewer patients in the Hall of Medical Fame, but there were more and more patients in the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, which made the doctors very busy. At this moment, there was a disturbance in the crowd in the distance. Someone shouted, "Oh no, someone died. The doctor of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association killed someone." Following this shout, the others immediately scattered in all directions, leaving a circle in the middle. Gao Fengwen and the others were close to the location of the accident. When they heard the news, they immediately ran over. They saw a middle-aged man in his 50s lying on the ground motionless. It seemed that he was no different from a dead man. Next to the middle-aged man, a yellow-haired middle-aged woman pointed at the nose of an old Chinese medicine doctor and scolded, "You quack, you killed my man. I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to kill you today." The old Chinese medicine practitioner's name was Zhou Jinping. Seeing the middle-aged woman making a scene, he quickly said, "You can't blame me. It has nothing to do with me. I just felt his pulse and he died. There must be other hidden diseases. You quack, you killed my man, and you still don't admit it. I will tear your mouth." The yellow-haired woman grabbed Zhou Jinping's face as she spoke. Zhou Jinping quickly stepped back. His face was not scratched, but his robe was torn. Just then, the other people from the Chinese Medical Association rushed over and pulled the blonde woman away. Looking at the middle-aged man on the ground, Gao Fengwen asked Zhou Jinping, "What the hell is going on?" Zhou Jinping gasped for breath, tidied up his torn clothes, and said, "Vice President Gao, I'm not too sure either. This person said he came to see a doctor, but he sat here for less than 10 seconds. I just touched his wrist, and before I could even feel his pulse, he suddenly fell to the ground and died. This has absolutely nothing to do with my treatment." The yellow-haired woman shouted, "Bastard quack, how can it have nothing to do with you? You killed my man. I'm not done with you. I'll send you to prison. I'll make you pay with your life." After this woman's disturbance, the other doctors also became nervous. As doctors, they were most afraid of encountering this kind of thing. If they really killed someone, not only would it affect their reputation, but it would also attract a large number of relevant departments to investigate them. They might even end up in jail. Gao Fengwen said, "Lady, don't worry. We're a volunteer clinic of the Chinese Medicine Association. If it's because of us, our association will never shirk the responsibility, but we must find out what exactly happened." The yellow-haired woman immediately screamed, "He's dead. Don't you know? It's your quack who killed my man. You must give me an explanation today, or I'll send you all to prison." At this time, Qin Haodong rushed over and glanced at the middle-aged man on the ground. Although his vitality was very weak, it had not completely disappeared. He said, "Who told you that the patient is dead? He's not dead now. Let me see his situation." Then he went over to treat the middle-aged man. But the yellow-haired woman opened her arms in front of him and shouted, "I'll never believe you Chinese medicine practitioners again. You've killed my man, and you still don't admit it." Qin Haodong said, "You have to let me check the patient's situation. As I said, he's not dead now. If you delay like this, he may really die." The yellow-haired woman cried, "Nonsense. I've already seen him. My man doesn't even have a heartbeat and breathing. How can you say that he's not dead? You're trying to shirk the responsibility." Qin Haodong said, "Don't worry. If it's our responsibility, we'll take it to the end. But if it's not our responsibility, it's impossible to force it on us." The yellow-haired woman glanced at him and said, "Who are you? What right do you have to say that here? Can you make the decision?" Gao Fengwen said, "This is Qin Haodong, the president of our Chinese Medicine Association. He can make the decision." Qin Haodong said. Now can you let me see the patient's situation? The yellow-haired woman cried. No, you're all in cahoots. I've called 120 and the police. When the police come, they'll arrest you quacks and put you in prison. During the quarrel, a siren sounded. An ambulance and a police car drove over one after another. Nalan Wuxia, in uniform, walked into the crowd with several doctors. Nalan Wuxia first glanced at Qin Haodong and then said, What's going on? The yellow-haired woman cried first. Comrade police, you have to help me. These quacks killed my man. You must arrest them and put them in prison. Qin Haodong said, It's not like that. The patient suddenly fell ill here, but he's not dead yet. Nalan Wuxia said, Sister, don't quarrel. Let the doctor check the patient's situation first. Don't delay the rescue. At this time, the doctor got out of the ambulance and came to the middle-aged man. A middle-aged female doctor wearing glasses listened to the heartbeat and looked at the pupils. Finally, she shook her head and said, There are signs of pupils dilation. The heartbeat and pulse have completely disappeared. There's no need to rescue him. Call the crematorium. After this conclusion was sent, the faces of the Chinese Medicine Association's doctors darkened. It seemed that they were really in big trouble. The yellow-haired woman cried. Did you hear that? The heartbeat and pulse are gone. How can you say he's not dead? You quack. Seeing that the man was really dead, Zhou Jinping cried with a livid face. Although he's dead, it has nothing to do with me. He suddenly died. I can't touch his pulse and kill him. I suggest an autopsy to find out the patient's cause of death. The yellow-haired woman cried. Bullsh *T. My man is in good health. Today, he saw your free clinic, so he came to join in the fun. How could he suddenly die? You killed him. As she spoke, she began to cry loudly. Her sad appearance made people's hearts ache. Che Xiaoxiao and Wang Desheng were also among the crowd. Che Xiaoxiao said in a low voice, What the hell is going on? Don't tell me you'll kill him just by feeling his pulse? Wang Desheng sneered and said, Who knows? As the saying goes, the higher you stand, the harder you fall. The Chinese Medicine Association is in big trouble this time. Qin Haodong glanced at the yellow-haired woman. Others were confused by the woman's illusion. But he could see clearly that although the woman was crying hard, she was not sad at all. It was all for others to see. The yellow-haired woman cried even more sadly. Honey, how can you go like this? What about me and the child? Who will take care of my 80-year-old mother? Why is my life so bitter? Qin Haodong said, Things have to be solved eventually. Tell me, what do you want? Maybe you can give me a number, and I can satisfy you. Gao Fengwen said, President, this is not appropriate. Although this man is dead, it has nothing to do with our Chinese Medicine Association. I've been a Chinese medicine practitioner for so many years, but I've never heard of someone dying by touching the pulse. Qin Haodong said, Anyway, he is dead. Let's see what his family has to say first. After hearing this, the yellow-haired woman seemed to be immediately refreshed. She stood up, wiped her tears and said, I also know that people can't come back to life. Anyway, he is dead, and there are children and old people at home who need to be taken care of. It's not easy for you to give free medical treatment here, so I reluctantly agreed to settle it privately. The woman made a gesture of generosity, and no longer pursuing the matter. Qin Haodong said, Then what? How much do you want to pay for this? The yellow-haired woman said, As the saying goes, life is at stake. My husband is dead, and I have to take care of my mother and children at home. I don't want more from you. Just give me this number. She said as she stretched out an index finger. Zhou Jinping said quickly, President, you can't agree. This man's death has nothing to do with me. Why should I give her 1 million? Quack, get out of my way. The woman shouted at Qin Haodong. I'm not talking about 1 million but 10 million. Qin Haodong glanced at her and sneered. 10 million? Don't you think you're too greedy? The onlookers also burst into an uproar. Generally speaking, whether it was a traffic accident or a mine disaster, 1 million was generally a very high compensation. This woman actually asked for 10 million. It was obvious that she was going to ask for an exorbitant price. The yellow-haired woman shouted at the top of her voice. Is 10 million a lot? How much money can buy my husband's life? I'll agree to settle it privately if you give me 10 million. Not a penny less, or I'll send you all to prison. Are you kidding me? Even if it's our responsibility, it's my own responsibility. What does it have to do with others? Zhou Jinping said to Nalan Wuxia. Officer, I request that the body be sealed, and then the forensic autopsy will analyze the cause of death. If it's my responsibility, I won't escape. If it has nothing to do with me, we won't pay a penny. The yellow-haired woman cried. Bastard, is this your attitude to solve the problem? You killed someone, but you don't have any remorse. Qin Haodong waved his hand and stopped Zhou Jinping, who still wanted to argue. He said, well, let me check the body. If it's confirmed that he's dead, I'm willing to pay you 10 million. What do you think? The middle-aged female doctor, who had just confirmed the death, had not left yet. Seeing Qin Haodong questioning her conclusion, she said discontentedly, he's really dead. Is there any doubt? Qin Haodong said, I'm stubborn. I have to verify it myself. The yellow-haired woman hesitated for a moment and said, are you sure you'll pay if you check it? Of course. Qin Haodong said, the premise is that he's really dead. The woman gritted her teeth, as if she had made a very important decision. She moved aside and said, you check it. Chapter 323. Qin Haodong walked to the dead man and put his hand on the pulse. As he had expected, the man was in a state of suspended animation and was not really dead. Gao Fengwen also came over. First, he opened the dead man's eyelids and found that his pupils were dilated. Then, he put his hand on his chest to feel the man's heartbeat. There was no breath. Then he felt the pulse, but there was no response at all. He looked up at Qin Haodong and whispered, President, this man is really dead. From the bottom of his heart, he also felt that Qin Haodong was a little reckless. He should not have easily agreed to the woman's request. 10 million yuan was not a small number. The female doctor looked at Qin Haodong with a smile and said, what do you think? You didn't believe my diagnosis, did you? Why did you have to see it yourself? What did you find? Hearing Gao Fengwen say that her man was dead, the yellow-haired woman's eyes flashed with imperceptible pride. She shouted to Qin Haodong, what do you think? What else do you have to say? Hurry up and pay me. Qin Haodong smiled and said calmly, you're all wrong. This man is not dead. The yellow-haired woman cried, why are you like this? He said he's dead, but you just want to deny it. Qin Haodong said, what's the hurry? If I can't make him stand up in 10 minutes, I'll transfer 10 million yuan to your account immediately. The female doctor looked at Qin Haodong with even more disdain. If Gao Fengwen and the others were not present, she would have thought that Qin Haodong was out to make trouble. It was obvious that this man was dead. How could he stand up? Did he really think that he could bring the dead back to life? Looking at Qin Haodong's confident look, Gao Fengwen asked doubtfully, President, what's going on? Why didn't I see any flaws? Qin Haodong said, have you heard of the immortal grass? The immortal grass? As soon as he said that, Shen Xiangfu, Zhong Sihai, and several experienced Chinese medicine doctors next to him changed their expressions. Although they had never seen the immortal grass, they had seen it in ancient books. It was said that after eating the immortal grass, one could be in a state of suspended animation for 3 days. He looked like a dead person, but he would return to normal after 3 days. Gao Fengwen asked, President, do you mean that this man took the immortal grass? Qin Haodong shook his head and said, it's not the grass of immortality, but a medicine similar to it. After listening to Qin Haodong, the yellow-haired woman's expression changed slightly, but she still held up her mobile phone and shouted, as you can see, 2 minutes have passed. There are 8 minutes left. Gao Fengwen said nervously, President, time is running out. Can we make it? Qin Haodong said calmly, more than enough. As he spoke, he took out a bag of needles from his pocket. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 silver needles were inserted into the man's chest. So fast, who is this young man? Why does it look like a magic trick? Don't you know him? This is the most famous medical sage in Jiangnan, Dr. Qin Haodong. What is this young doctor doing? Can it really bring the dead back to life? Qin Haodong ignored the comments around him. 5 minutes later, he took back all the silver needles. The dead man was lying on the ground, with a layer of black qi covering his face. He still looked the same. Did he fail? There seems to be no reaction. It should be so. Many doctors said that this man was dead. How could he come back to life? It seems that even the medical sage can't do it. No one can bring the dead back to life. The female doctor's mouth was full of disdain. Does he really think he's a magic doctor? Can he bring the dead back to life? The yellow-haired woman was a little nervous at first, but then she shouted arrogantly, "There is only 1 minute left. Get ready to take the money." Looking at her expression, she did not look sad at all, like a family member of the dead. Qin Haodong sneered and said, "Don't worry, there is one last procedure." As he spoke, he raised his hand and patted the middle-aged man's chest. The man suddenly sat up from the ground, opened his mouth, and spat out a mouthful of pink liquid. Oh my God, this man really came back to life. The dead came back to life. The medical sage is really the medical sage. He can actually bring the dead back to life. I've really opened my eyes. He can even bring the dead back to life. This medical skill is amazing. Seeing the man sitting up from the ground, Gao Fengwen and the others all breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Qin Haodong with admiration in their eyes. If this man had really died, it would definitely have a bad impact on the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. At the same time, it would be very troublesome. Zhou Jinping might also be sued. The female doctor was stunned and speechless. She had been a doctor for almost 20 years. She did not expect to encounter such a magical thing. It was obvious that this man was dead. How could he come back to life? The yellow-haired woman stood there like a statue with a timer in her hand. She did not expect that Qin Haodong would really wake up her man in 10 minutes. Qin Haodong looked at the pool of yellow water and frowned slightly. He looked thoughtful. The only one who did not know what was going on was the middle-aged man, who had just woken up. He opened his eyes and saw the yellow-haired woman in front of him. He immediately shouted, "Honey, did you get the money?" As soon as he said this, the people around him immediately laughed. Now even a fool could see that these two people had used a special method to cheat money here. Hearing the laughter around him, the middle-aged man came to his senses. After looking around, he pretended to say, "Honey, what happened to me just now? Why did I suddenly faint?" The yellow-haired woman was also like a drama queen. She cooperated and said, "Yes, honey, you suddenly fainted just now. It's good that you're fine now. Let's go home quickly." Then she pulled the middle-aged man up and was about to leave, but they were blocked by Qin Haodong and the people of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Qin Haodong said coldly, "Are you going to leave just like that?" The yellow-haired woman said, "Since my man is fine, I won't ask you for money. Are you still not going to let us go?" Zhou Jinping shouted angrily, "You say you want money, and you say you don't want money, and you say you don't want money. What do you think our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is? How can there be such a good thing?" He was really angry. It was obvious that these two guys had come to blackmail him. If Qin Haodong had not happened to see through it, he might have been sued. The people around also shouted, "Liars, the police arrest them." This kind of blackmailer is the most annoying. They should be put in prison and never released. Just now they opened their mouths and asked for 10 million yuan. Now they want to leave after being seen through. How can there be such a good thing? They must pay the price. Qin Haodong looked at the two and said, "Tell me, what the hell is going on?" This accident, it's all an accident," the yellow-haired woman said embarrassedly. "My husband had a heart attack before. I don't know why it happened just now, but now he's all right. It's all right." The middle-aged man also said, "Yes, I don't know why I suddenly had a heart attack just now, and then I fainted." Anyone could see that it was a lie. Qin Haodong didn't want to talk nonsense with them, so he directly used mind bewitching. "Be honest, what the hell is going on? Who asked you to come?" A trace of confusion flashed in the yellow-haired woman's eyes. And then she said, "A man asked us to come here. He gave us 20,000 yuan and asked us to come here to blackmail." The onlookers immediately became restless. They didn't expect that the woman would tell the truth so easily. Nalan Wuxiao was very clear about Qin Haodong's ability to interrogate, so she asked a young policeman to take out a notebook to record. Sure enough, there was someone behind this matter. Qin Haodong asked again, "Who is that middle-aged man? Do you have his contact information?" The yellow-haired woman said, "We don't know that man. He was wearing a mask and sunglasses, so we couldn't see what he looked like. The two of us were originally blackmailer. 2 hours ago, the man suddenly found us and gave us a bottle of potion. He said that drinking this potion was no different from a dead person, and that you would wake up after 12 hours. He asked us to come here to blackmail. He gave us 20,000 yuan as a reward, and he didn't want a cent of the money he extorted from here. At that time, we were obsessed with money, so we agreed." Qin Haodong said, "Aren't you afraid that this is poison, and you will die completely after drinking it?" The middle-aged man said, "Of course I'm afraid. I just want to make some money. I don't really want to die." The man was also afraid that we wouldn't believe him, so he asked us to take a little bit and feed it to our dog. The dog immediately became like a dead dog after drinking it, but half an hour later, it was alive again. That's why we believed him and came here to pretend to be dead to cheat money. Qin Haodong asked a few more questions, but the two blackmailers only knew so much, so he couldn't get any more information. He turned to Nalan Wuxia and said, "I'll leave these two people to you. Check again, and see if you can find any useful clues." What he wanted to know most now was who was behind this. Nalan Wuxia nodded and waved to the young policeman behind her. "Take them away." The two policemen handcuffed the first two blackmailers and took them to the police car. There was an immediate burst of applause from the crowd. These two bastards asked for 10 million yuan as soon as they opened their mouths. I guess they will spend the rest of their lives in prison. What's wrong with them? They have to blackmail. This kind of person is the most wicked. The matter had been handled here. Qin Haodong turned to the doctors of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and said, "It's all right now. Let's continue the free clinic." After receiving his order, the doctors immediately returned to their posts, but the patients did not disperse. They surrounded Qin Haodong and shouted, "Long live the medical sage! Good job, medical sage! Medical sage, we love you! A benevolent doctor can bring the dead back to life. He deserves to be our medical sage of Huaxia." Wang Desheng and Che Xiaoxiao were mixed in the crowd. At first he was smiling and watching with relish. Later, when he saw Qin Haodong turn the situation around in an instant, his face suddenly darkened. At this time, when he heard the cheers of the people, his face became more and more gloomy. He didn't expect that his plan not only failed to bring down Qin Haodong and the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, but also created the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. When he returned to the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, he found that some patients had also run to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Only the Chinese medicine practitioners he had recruited were there. Everyone was sitting in front of the consultation table, but there was no patient in front of them. "Desheng, what's wrong with you? Why do you look so pale?" Che Xiaoxiao asked with concern. "It's nothing. I'm just a little uncomfortable," Wang Desheng said to Hai Long. "Everyone has worked hard all day. Go back and rest early." At this point, he could only cancel today's free clinic early. Otherwise, the Hall of Medical Fame would only be more shameful sitting here. After leaving the health square, he refused Che Xiaoxiao's company on the grounds of discomfort and went home. "Brother, you're back." As soon as he entered the door, Wang Daji greeted him. He didn't notice Wang Desheng's pale face. He followed him and said proudly, "Brother, I did a good job today, didn't I?" Is Qin Haodong completely dumbfounded? Chapter 324. Wang Desheng ignored Wang Daji and quickly returned to his room. He grabbed the red wine bottle on the table and poured a large glass. Then he drank it up, as if he wanted to use the wine to extinguish the depression in his heart. Wang Daji found that his mood was not right and said, "What's wrong, brother? You should be happy that such a big thing happened to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Why don't you look happy?" "I'm not happy." Wang Dasheng changed his usual elegant image. He threw the wine glass in his hand to the ground and scolded, "That gigolo is very cunning. Our plan not only failed, but it also made him more popular. Now everyone is shouting that the medical sage can bring the dead back to life." Wang Daji said in surprise, "How could this be? I asked that guy to test it on a dog. As long as he drank a little, he was like a dead dog. There was no breathing, no heartbeat, and even his body temperature dropped. How could he tell? I don't know how he could tell. In short, our plan did not succeed. This guy is much more difficult to deal with than we thought." Wang Dasheng took a deep breath, suppressed his anger and said, "What about the rest of the medicine? Bring it back to me." Wang Daji said, "Brother, this thing is very fun. We can pretend to be dead and cheat people. Just leave it for me to play with." "It's not fun," Wang Dasheng cried. "Is this something we can play with casually? Now that gigolo must be suspicious. We can't let anyone know that this thing belongs to us. Otherwise, there will be unnecessary trouble. Hurry up and bring the rest of the medicine back to me." "Brother, don't be angry. I'll get it now." Although Wang Daji was a playboy, he was frightened of his brother. He quickly ran back to his room and brought back the remaining half of the bottle of pink medicine. Wang Dasheng took the medicine and looked at it. Then he turned around and put it into a cabinet next to him. This cabinet was completely his personal belongings. There were all kinds of bottles and cans in it. Suddenly his expression froze. He picked up a glass bottle filled with white powder. There was only half of the powder left in it. He then picked up another bottle that was close to it. There was also less powder in it. He suddenly turned around and shouted at Wang Daji, "Did you touch my powder?" I Wang Daji was shocked. He mumbled for a long time, but he couldn't say a complete sentence. Wang Dasheng grabbed him by the collar and growled, "Tell me, what did you do with my medicine?" Seeing that he couldn't hide it, Wang Daji quickly said, "Brother, don't be angry. In fact, I didn't do anything. I just took these things to fight dogs. I want to win some money." "Bastard, didn't I say that you're not allowed to touch anything here?" Hearing that Wang Daji had just used it for dog fighting, Wang Dasheng's anger finally subsided a little. Wang Daji quickly said, "I won't do it again, brother." "I won't do it again," Wang Dasheng said. "You're not young anymore. Don't just think about fighting dogs and flirting with girls all day long. Do you know how valuable my powder is? They're much more expensive than your dogs." Seeing that his brother's tone had eased a lot, Wang Daji breathed a sigh of relief and murmured, "In fact, this thing is not very useful. I lost all my money." "Lost?" Wang Dasheng asked doubtfully. "How is that possible? No matter if it's a maddening agent or a delaying agent, as long as it's used on your dog, it's impossible for you to lose." Wang Daji said angrily, "It's all because of that toy boy. I won the first day and was about to win the dogfighting ring. Who knew that he would jump out the next day? After that, I lost again and again. I lost all my money." Wang Dasheng's expression changed and he asked nervously, "What? You used this powder in front of Qin Haodong?" Wang Daji said, "I just used it in the dogfighting ring. I didn't know that he was here. But don't worry, brother, he didn't find anything." "Bastard, you can't do anything right." Wang Dasheng was furious and slapped Wang Daji in the face. He had now learned how terrible Qin Haodong was. If he had known that his idiot brother had exposed this powder, he would not have asked someone to go to the Chinese Medicine Academy to blackmail him. "Brother, why did you hit me?" Wang Daji covered his swollen cheek and asked aggrievedly. "Get out of here and don't let me see you again." Wang Dasheng yelled angrily. Seeing that his brother was angry, Wang Daji did not dare to say anything. He could only leave the room in disgrace. After he left, Wang Dasheng sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette. He had a strong ability to control his emotions. After smoking a cigarette, he had calmed down again. No matter whether the powder could be exposed or not, it had to be done. This time, he had returned to Huaxia with a task from the organization. If he couldn't complete it, the severe punishment would make him tremble with fear. Thinking of this, he put out the cigarette, got up, and went to the Hall of Medical Fame. Because they came back very early, it was just the afternoon. These doctors were still working in the Hall of Medical Fame. Wang Desheng asked his secretary to call Fu Hailong to his office and said with a smile, "Mr. Fu, you've worked hard for this morning's free clinic." Fu Hailong shook his head and said, "Master Wang, you must be joking. I didn't expect this to happen this morning. I'm really not worthy of your expectations." "It's not your fault, Mr. Fu. I underestimated the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. It's my fault." Wang Desheng was very generous. He took the responsibility and said, "Mr. Fu, in fact, the free clinic doesn't matter too much. The most important thing for us now is to develop a heavyweight medicine, such as the blood revival elixir of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. As long as we can come up with 1 or 2 medicines of this level, it will be difficult for the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame not to become famous." Fu Hailong shook his head and said, "Master, your idea is good, but it's too difficult to implement. For so many years, only Qin Haodong has made the blood revival elixir. It's not so easy to develop medicine to cure terminal diseases." Wang Desheng said, "I'm a layman in Chinese medicine, but I know that you should have some ancestral secret prescriptions in your hands. Can't you take them out and produce them? As long as your medicine is good enough, you can rest assured that you will be satisfied with the price." Fu Hailong said with a wry smile, "Master, there are some things that can't be solved with money. You're right. We old guys have some secret prescriptions in our hands. We don't usually give them out, but these medicines can only treat some ordinary diseases. We don't have any heavyweight medicines like leukemia. Also, 90% of our prescriptions need to feel the patient's pulse first and adjust the dosage and type of medicinal materials according to the patient's condition and specific situation. We can't mass-produce them like the blood revival elixir, which can adapt to all patients." "I see." Wang Desheng was slightly disappointed and said, "Mr. Fu, you go ahead. I'll think of other ways." After that, he sent Fu Hailong away and asked his secretary to invite Lu Baikuan. After some talk, the result was the same. Lu Baikuan couldn't come up with a good prescription that could be mass-produced. Wang Desheng was not discouraged. He talked to the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame one by one, trying to find the results he wanted. Before he knew it, the sun was setting. He had talked to almost all the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame, but the results made him very discouraged. These people either couldn't come up with decent prescriptions, or could only treat some ordinary diseases. They couldn't achieve the effect of the blood revival elixir. Wang Desheng sighed. He had thought that as long as he was willing to pay, he would be able to buy a prescription similar to the blood revival elixir from these old Chinese medicine doctors. It seemed that he still didn't understand the Chinese medicine industry and underestimated the difficulty of developing a new medicine. If this situation continued, his bold words at the press conference would become a joke. He had boasted that the Hall of Medical Fame would be able to develop an elixir comparable to the blood revival elixir. Now it seemed that it was almost impossible. At this time, the secretary opened the door and brought in the last Chinese medicine doctor named Zhang Guoyang. He was only in his 40s, the youngest and lowest among all the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame. Wang Desheng adjusted his mood and asked, "Dr. Zhang, do you have any prescription with a unique effect? As long as you can come up with it, you can name the price." "Our company will definitely treat you well," Zhang Guoyang, who had already understood the purpose of Wang Desheng's talk, said with a wry smile. "I'm sorry, boss. I really don't have such a thing." "Oh." Wang Desheng looked disappointed. When he was about to ask the secretary to see him off, he heard Zhang Guoyang say, "It's a pity. My family originally had a secret ancestral prescription that could cure all kinds of kidney diseases. Unfortunately, it was burned when the Japanese invaded. Now it's just an incomplete prescription. Wang Desheng's eyes lit up as he asked, Dr. Zhang, what's going on? Tell me in detail. Zhang Guoyang said proudly, my great-grandfather was an imperial doctor in the palace. He often treated the emperor and the empress dowager. My family has a secret ancestral prescription called the 9 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. This medicine is very effective for all kinds of kidney diseases. Morning it can be effectively treated as small as diarrhea and uremia. It's a pity that when the Japanese invaded the Central Plains, they burned down my old house. Even though we managed to snatch the formula of the 9 Treasure Kidney Nourishing Pill, one of the original 9 herbs was missing, and only 8 of them were left. It became an incomplete formula. Wang Desheng asked, doesn't anyone in your family know what's written on the prescription? Can't you just make it whole? Zhang Guoyang shook his head and said, it's called an ancestral prescription because it's passed down from generation to generation. It's never allowed to be passed down to outsiders. Therefore, the secret prescription of my family can only be passed down to one person in each generation. My great-grandfather was burned to death before he could pass it on to my grandfather. No one alive knows what's written on the prescription, so naturally, it can't be made up. Wang Desheng sighed and said, is there no other way to remedy it? Zhang Guoyang said, after my great-grandfather passed away, our family continued to be doctors for generations. My grandfather and my father have tried many kinds of medicinal materials to add to the incomplete prescription, but they can't reach the effect of the 9 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. Wang Desheng said, only one of the 9 medicines is missing. If we try a few more times, we will succeed, right? Zhang Guoyang said, it's too difficult. There are tens of thousands of Chinese medicinal materials in Huaxia. It's not easy to mix them. In addition, Chinese medicine is very particular, and it's difficult to control the amount of medicine used. Sometimes it will be poisoned if we use too much, and it won't work if we use too little. Although our family has tried many times, we still haven't been able to make up the prescription of the 9 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. Wang Desheng thought for a moment and suddenly asked, what if there are only 8 medicines and one is missing? Zhang Guoyang said, my grandfather has also tried this. The conclusion is that it still has a therapeutic effect, but it will seriously damage the liver. Therefore, my grandfather left an ancestral rule that forbids our family from using the prescription of the 9 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. Chapter 325. What a pity, what a pity. Wang Desheng sighed again and again. He seemed to feel sorry for the Zhang family's Jiubao Kidney Nourishing Pill. Then he said, Dr. Zhang, I have an idea. Can you sell me your incomplete prescription? No way. Zhang Guoyang shook his head quickly and said, my grandfather left an ancestral instruction. This incomplete prescription can't be spread or used. Wang Desheng said, Dr. Zhang, it's useless for you to keep such an incomplete prescription. You might as well sell it to me. You can name the price. Zhang Guoyang said, Boss Wang, to tell you the truth, this prescription is very harmful to the liver. It can't be used. Otherwise, it will cause serious consequences. Wang Desheng said with a smile, Dr. Zhang, you misunderstood me. I'm a businessman. My purpose is to make money. How could I do such a stupid thing? I want medicine to cure diseases, not to harm people. Zhang Guoyang said in surprise. Then what do you want this prescription for? Wang Desheng said, I'm going to set up a laboratory in the Hall of Medical Fame. It's very difficult for the Wang family to complete this incomplete prescription, and the conditions don't allow it. But if it's in my laboratory, it will be different. Although the process is a bit long, I think one day I will complete this prescription, and then it will bring me a lot of money. Oh, Zhang Guoyang responded. He thought Wang Desheng's statement was reasonable, but he still said, I'm sorry, Boss Wang. I still can't sell it to you. Our family has an ancestral instruction. This prescription can't be spread. Wang Desheng said, Dr. Zhang, you still won't let go of the ancestral instruction at this time. What's the use of keeping such a broken prescription? It's useless to keep it. It's better to exchange it for some money to improve the lives of your wife and children. How about this? I'll pay you 5 million, and you sell me the prescription. 5 million? Zhang Guoyang was shocked. Although he was a famous Chinese medicine practitioner, he hadn't saved 5 million in all these years. After thinking for a moment, he shook his head and said, I'm sorry, boss. I really can't sell it. 10 million. Wang Desheng looked calm and doubled the price. He seemed to be sure that Zhang Guoyang would sell him the prescription. Boss Wang, it's really not about money. 20 million. 50 million. When Wang Desheng shouted the price, Zhang Guoyang was so surprised that he couldn't close his mouth. It was 50 million yuan, which was more than he could earn in his lifetime. He gritted his teeth and said, Well, Boss Wang, since you want to buy it, I'll sell it, but I have a condition. Wang Desheng smirked and said, If you have any conditions, just tell me. As long as I can do it, I will satisfy you. Zhang Guoyang said, I have a son who is 20 years old this year. He doesn't like traditional Chinese medicine and doesn't go to school well. I want to send him to study in M country. I heard that you came back from M country. Can you help me? As long as you can help me, I'll give you the prescription immediately. No problem. Wang Desheng agreed without hesitation. It's easy to study abroad. I have a lot of friends in M country. I can guarantee that your son will go abroad within a week. You don't have to worry about the money. As long as you give me the prescription, I'll transfer it to your account immediately. That's great. Thank you, boss. I'll go home now and get the prescription for you. Zhang Guoyang had a son named Zhang Shuai. This boy was indeed a bit of a loafer, which gave him a headache. He didn't like learning traditional Chinese medicine and cried that he wanted to go abroad. Today, he had finally solved his son's problem and removed a big worry for him. As for the incomplete prescription, as Wang Desheng had said, it was useless for his family to keep it. Since it could be sold for so much money, he might as well sell it. Even if something went wrong, it had nothing to do with him. Well, I'll wait for you here, Wang Desheng said with a smile. Boss, I'll be back soon, Zhang Guoyang said as he turned around and left. He was really fast. More than half an hour later, he hurried back to the office with a small wooden box in his arms. Boss, here's the prescription. As he spoke, he placed the small wooden box on the desk and opened the lid, revealing a black and yellow prescription inside. The yellow side was too old, and the black side was burned. It was obvious that a corner was missing, and one of the 9 medicinal materials recorded on it was missing. Boss, this is the prescription of the Jiubao kidney nourishing pill. Please take it, Zhang Guoyang said as he handed the incomplete ancient prescription to Wang Desheng. Good. Wang Desheng's eyes flashed. He took the prescription and looked at it, then put it in his pocket. Then he called his secretary in and said, Go to the finance department and give me a cash check for 50 million yuan. The secretary said, Boss, don't you know what time it is? The finance department has already gotten off work. Wang Desheng patted his head and said to Zhang Guoyang apologetically, Dr. Zhang, I have a bad memory. When I'm busy, I forget the time. How about I ask the finance department to give you the money tomorrow? No problem. I'm not in a hurry to use it. Zhang Guoyang trusted Wang Desheng 100%. After all, Wang's group had tens of billions of assets, so he didn't need his money. Wang Desheng said, I just called a friend in M country. Go back tonight and prepare your son's information. Send it to him tomorrow. Within a week, the study abroad will be settled. Great, thank you, boss, Zhang Guoyang said gratefully. At the same time, he was also very happy. The prescription that had been useless to him not only solved the problem of his son's study abroad, but also earned him a lot of money. It was like a pie falling from the sky. Come on, let's have a drink to celebrate. Wang Desheng was also very happy. He picked up the red wine next to him and poured a glass for each of them. Zhang Guoyang said with some embarrassment, Boss, this is not good. I'm still driving. Wang Desheng said carelessly, What are you afraid of? A glass of red wine won't have much impact. As long as you don't leave Jiangnan City, I can handle anything for you. It's rare to be happy today. We have to celebrate. Well, I'll drink this glass. Zhang Guoyang was a good drinker. He really didn't care about this glass of red wine. He picked up the glass and clinked it with Wang Desheng, then drank it up. Wang Desheng also drank up the wine in his glass. He put down the glass and said, Dr. Zhang, I won't keep you. I'll ask the finance department to give you the money tomorrow morning. Thank you, boss. Zhang Guoyang said goodbye to Wang Desheng and turned to leave the office. Looking at his back, Wang Desheng sneered and murmured, Don't worry, I'll burn it for you. Zhang Guoyang left the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and drove his Passat home again. It was already night, and the rush hour had passed. There were not many cars on the road. He was in a good mood and drove very fast. Suddenly, a construction drags truck carrying construction waste drove out from the opposite construction site. He hurriedly stepped on the brakes to slow down, but he was surprised to find that although he had this idea in his mind, his body did not respond. Zhang Guoyang was shocked. He desperately wanted to step on the brakes, but no matter how hard he tried, his body did not move. He wanted to shout, but no sound came out. Wang Desheng I. F***CKU. F***CKU. This was Zhang Guoyang's last thought. Then with a loud bang, the Passat collided with the dregs truck. He completely lost consciousness. Qin Haodong and the doctors of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association were busy until the sun went down. Then they ended today's free clinic. He stood up and moved his stiff limbs. He turned his head and saw Naylan Wuxia, who was in casual clothes, staring at him. When did you come? Qin Haodong asked. I came after work. I saw you were busy, so I didn't disturb you. Qin Haodong asked. How's the case going? Did you manage to dig out any useful clues from those two guys? Naylan Wuxia gave him a charming look and said discontentedly, You asked me this when we met. Didn't you ask me if I had eaten? There's no need to ask. You definitely haven't eaten. Qin Haodong said, Let's go. I'm hungry. Let's go have dinner together. What do you want to eat? Just tell me. Naylan Wuxia said, I know a Sichuan restaurant. The taste is very authentic. Let's go there. They got in the car. Half an hour later, they arrived at the Sichuan restaurant mentioned by Naylan Wuxia. The decoration of the restaurant was not too gorgeous, but they could smell the spicy aroma of the Sichuan restaurant from a distance. It was very appetizing. They found a table and sat down. After ordering a few dishes, Qin Haodong asked, Can you tell me now? Do you have any clues? Naylan Wuxia said, These two people were just ordinary blackmailers. They were completely used by others. The other party did it very cleanly and didn't leave any useful clues. Although it was not much different from what he had imagined, Qin Haodong was still a little disappointed. He said, It's a pity. If I don't catch the person behind the scenes, he will definitely trouble me again in the future. Naylan Wuxia said, In fact, it's easy to guess who did it. Qin Haodong smiled and said, Then who do you think did it? Your rival in love. Naylan Wuxia said with a smile. That day, you trampled on the faces of the Wang family and delayed Wang Desheng's confession. So it's normal for him to find some way to get back at you. Qin Haodong looked at her and said, You're really well informed. How did you know so soon? Of course. The circle in Jiangnan is not big. Anything can spread quickly, Naylan Wuxia said. In addition, your Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and Wang Desheng's Hall of Medical Fame are completely competitors. It would be strange if he didn't find some way to make trouble for you. Qin Haodong nodded and said, What you said is reasonable, but it's not absolute. I have a lot of enemies, and there are even more people who want the blood revival elixir. Therefore, I can't be sure that it was Wang Desheng who did it without evidence, although he is very suspicious. Then he asked, By the way, did your technical department test the guy's blood? Did you find out what medicine he used when he faked his death? Naylan Wuxia said, Yes, but nothing was found. The guy's blood tests were all normal. There was no sign of using medicine at all. You can't find out? Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat. It was very similar to the poison that Dabai and Erbai had been poisoned with a few days ago. It was difficult to detect the type of poison with existing medical means. Thinking of this, he took out his mobile phone and dialed Hu Xiaoxian's number. Xiaoxian, how's the test of the samples I sent you a few days ago? Is there any result? In the dogfighting ring, he had asked Bai Zipping to collect the fur and blood of Wang Daji's dogs and send the samples to Hu Xiaoxian. However, he had been so busy these days that he had forgotten to ask about the results. Chapter 326. On the other side of the phone, Hu Xiaoxian said coquettishly, "Little man, I have the result, but you have to say whether you miss me first, and then I will tell you." Qin Haodong looked at Nalan Wuxia next to him awkwardly and whispered, "Xiaoxian, can you tell me the result first?" "No, if you don't say something nice, who will work for you for free?" Hu Xiaoxian laughed again. "Is there another woman next to you, so you are embarrassed to say it?" Qin Haodong became more and more embarrassed. This woman was really too smart. Tell me or not. If not, I will hang up the phone. It seemed that Hu Xiaoxian intended to embarrass Qin Haodong. "Xiaoxian, stop it. I really have something urgent now, and I need your result." "What's urgent when you are with a beautiful woman? I think it's inconvenient for you to talk, so you can kiss me." Hu Xiaoxian continued to tease him. Qin Haodong regretted making the phone call in front of Nalan Wuxia. He didn't know what to say for a while. Fortunately, it was noisy in the restaurant, so Nalan Wuxia didn't seem to notice what they were talking about. "Well, since it's inconvenient, I won't embarrass you. Can you owe me first?" Okay, Qin Haodong said hurriedly. He would talk about the future later. He had to get through this first. "That's what you said. Don't deny it," Hu Xiaoxian said seriously. "The samples you sent contain a kind of genetic toxin. This technology is very advanced, and it can only be detected by the Scientific Research Institute in Huaxia. It can't be found in local hospitals at all." Genetic toxin? It was the first time that Qin Haodong had heard this term. "Yes, this is the test result of the Huaxia Scientific Research Institute. It is absolutely authoritative," Nalan Wuxia said. "It's just a very strange thing. This kind of high-tech genetic toxin is very expensive. Each gram is hundreds of times more expensive than gold. I don't know why they are willing to put it on dogs." Qin Haodong was not sure where Wang Daji got this kind of thing. He said, "I don't know, I just found it in the dogfighting ring." "Little man, your medical skills are really amazing. The Scientific Research Institute used the most advanced instruments to find this toxin. But you actually found it by relying on people. No wonder so many women like you. It seems that I have to keep a close eye on you in the future, or I won't even have a sip of soup. I still have something to do. I'll hang up first." Qin Haodong hurriedly hung up the phone. If he continued to talk, he didn't know what this charming woman would say. "What's wrong? Why are you blushing?" Nalan Wuxia looked at him and asked. Qin Haodong said awkwardly, "Oh, it's nothing. Maybe the food is too spicy." "What did you say?" "The dishes we ordered haven't arrived yet." It's too hot here. That's why I'm blushing." Nalan Wuxia looked at him strangely and didn't continue the topic. She asked, "What do you think? Is there a result?" "There's a result. This is the most advanced genetic toxin. Our Jiangnan's technology can't detect it. No wonder we didn't find anything." Nalan Wuxia said, "Such an advanced thing should have come from abroad." At this time, Qin Haodong was sure that the drug used by the blackmailer was completely different from the toxin in Dabai and Erbai, but it was similar in nature. It was also a kind of genetic toxin. The toxin in Dabai and Erbai came from Wang Daji. In this way, Wang Dasheng was even more suspicious. He said, "Now it seems that this genetic toxin is probably from M country. It may have been brought back by Wang Dasheng, or it may have been from Wilson Company. It's not clear whether Wang Dasheng has any connection with Wilson Company." At this time, the dishes they ordered were served. They chatted while eating. After the meal, Qin Haodong drove Nalan Wuxia back. They hadn't gone far when they suddenly found that the road in front of them was blocked. Nalan Wuxia got out of the car and said, "It's a traffic accident. It seems that a dregs truck and a car collided." Qin Haodong parked the car on the side of the road, got out and said, "Let's go and have a look. If there are any injured people, we can help them." They walked to the scene of the accident together. At this time, the accident handling car of the traffic police had arrived at the scene. 2 traffic policemen were busy at the scene. "Wang, what's going on?" Nalan Wuxia happened to know the traffic policeman who dealt with the accident, so she greeted him. When the traffic policeman saw Nalan Wuxia, he quickly said, "Captain Nalan, the 2 cars collided. The driver of the Passat was drunk and didn't have any brakes. The collision was very serious." Nalan Wuxia said, "Can we go and have a look? My friend happens to be a doctor. Let's see if he can help." "Of course. The ambulance hasn't come yet. It's said that there's a traffic jam." The traffic policeman then shook his head and said, "But in my opinion, it's of no value. The truck driver only has some superficial injuries. The driver of the car was hit so hard that his skull collapsed. I don't think even a god can save him. Let's go and have a look first." Hearing that there was a seriously injured person, Nalan Wuxia and Qin Haodong hurried over. The Passat was seriously deformed after the collision with the dregs truck. Fortunately, the driver's door had been opened. However, because the driver was seriously injured, no one dared to touch him. They were waiting for the arrival of the ambulance. Qin Haodong took a look. The driver's face was covered with blood. His skull had collapsed and deformed, as the traffic policeman said. He could feel that the man was dead without feeling his pulse. There was no value in saving him at all. "Haodong, how is it?" Nalan Wuxia asked. "He's dead." Qin Haodong shook his head regretfully. The traffic policeman behind them said, "Drunk driving really kills people. If this man hadn't been drunk and stepped on the brakes, he would probably be fine. At least he wouldn't have hit so hard." Then he sniffed and said, "What a strong smell of alcohol. I don't know how much he has drunk." Qin Haodong also sniffed. Suddenly his expression changed. Then he bent down and carefully examined the dead man. Seeing his strange expression, Nalan Wuxia asked, "What's wrong?" Qin Haodong said in a low voice, "This man didn't just drink. There is a breath of genetic toxin on him. That is to say, he was not completely drunk driving. He was poisoned. The reason why the smell of alcohol is so strong should have something to do with this toxin. He didn't necessarily drink so much. How could this be? Who is this man? Who poisoned him?" As the captain of the crime squad, Nalan Wuxia had to be nervous after encountering genetic toxins twice in just one day. Qin Haodong said, "It's not clear yet, but the preliminary guess is that the person who poisoned him is likely to have something to do with the racketeering case during the day. This is a good clue. We must find out." While the 2 of them were talking, an ambulance arrived late. 2 doctors got out of the ambulance. After examining the dead man's condition, they directly announced that the man was dead and issued a death notice. At the same time, they took the dead man's blood for a test. Soon the test result came out. The blood alcohol content was only 30. The traffic policeman was slightly stunned and said in surprise, "Doctor, is there a mistake? Why is it only 30? It looks like he has at least 300. The doctor also felt a little strange after hearing what he said. He took the blood again and got the same result. The traffic policeman had no choice but to use this conclusion as the standard for the verdict. At the same time, it also verified Qin Haodong's statement just now. The man didn't drink too much, but the toxin increased the smell of alcohol, making people mistakenly think that he was driving drunk. Nalan Wuxia whispered, "Do you think this case is not a traffic accident?" Qin Haodong nodded. It seemed that someone had done something to him and wanted to kill him through a traffic accident, but he didn't know what the purpose behind it was. Nalan Wuxia turned to the traffic policeman and said, "Have you found out the identity of the dead man?" "A driver's license was found on him. The dead man's name is Zhang Guoyang, 45 years old. We don't know anything else, but his family has been notified." While they were talking, there was a burst of crying. A middle-aged woman in her 40s and a young man in his 20s squeezed into the crowd and burst into tears on Zhang Guoyang's body. In contrast, Zhang Guoyang's son, Zhang Shuai, was more emotionally stable. Nalan Wuxia said to him, "I'm from the Jiangnan crime squad. I don't think your father's case is that simple. I want to know more about him. Can you answer a few questions for me?" Zhang Shuai wiped his tears and asked, "Do you mean that my father was not killed in a traffic accident, but was killed by someone?" Nalan Wuxia said, "I'm not sure yet, but it's a possibility." Zhang Shuai said, "Well, ask me. If my father was killed, you must put the murderer in prison." "I promise you it's my duty." Nalan Wuxia asked, "What's your father's occupation?" Zhang Shuai said, "He was a Chinese medicine practitioner. He used to run his own clinic and went to the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame a few days ago." Hearing the words Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, Qin Haodong and Nalan Wuxia's faces changed. They didn't expect that the dead man had something to do with the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Nalan Wuxia asked, "What did your father do before the accident? Did he drink with anyone?" Zhang Shuai said, "An hour ago my father came home in a hurry. He looked very happy. I don't know what he took and left. About 40 minutes ago, he called home and asked us to wait for him to have dinner together. He said that he had good news to tell me and my mother. He hadn't eaten yet, so he didn't drink." After that, Nalan Wuxia asked a few more questions, but she didn't get much information. She turned to look at Qin Haodong and said, "Is there anything else you want to ask?" "No, it's enough. The first time they found out that the gene toxin was taken out by Wang Daji. The second time they found out that the gene toxin was likely to have something to do with the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Now the third time they found out that the gene toxin was related to the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. If the first time was a coincidence, then the third time was definitely not as simple as a coincidence. It was very likely to have something to do with Wang Deshang." Nalan Wuxia obviously realized this and said, "What should we do next? Do you need me to arrest Wang Deshang now?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "It's too early to arrest Wang Deshang. We don't have strong evidence at the moment. It's all speculation. Let's go to Wang Daji and ask him." Wang Daji felt very depressed after being slapped and scolded by Wang Deshang. He drove away from home and made an appointment with a female delinquent he often hung out with. The two of them first had a drink in the bar and then booked a room in the hotel next door. They had just taken off their clothes. When they were about to have a big fight, the door was suddenly opened from the outside. Then Qin Haodong and Nalan Wuxia came in. Chapter 327. The girl screamed and pulled the quilt over her chest. Then she pointed at the two men and scolded, "Who the F***ck are you? Can't you see that I'm working with young Master Wang? How dare you come in? Do you want to die?" In her opinion, with Wang Daji's arrogance, he would definitely break the man's legs and drag the woman to bed. But when she turned to look at Wang Daji, she found that his face was pale and his body was trembling, as if he was very scared. What are you doing here?" Wang Daji asked nervously. After what had happened in the dogfighting ring, he had a kind of fear from the bottom of his heart when he saw Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong asked Nalan Wuxia to wait at the door. He grabbed a sheet and covered his little bird. Then he raised his hand and knocked the girl out. Then he asked, "I just want to ask you one thing. Where did you get the medicine you used in the dogfighting ring last time?" "Medicine? What medicine?" Wang Daji had already realized what Qin Haodong was asking about, but of course he couldn't say it. If Wang Deshang knew, he would be skinned. "Don't play dumb. It's the powder you used on the dog. This time, Qin Haodong directly used mind bewitching. I stole it from my brother," Wang Daji said honestly. Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat. These things were really brought back by Wang Deshang. Does Wang Deshang have a lot of this kind of powder? Yes, there are a lot of different kinds. There are about a dozen kinds. Do you know where these things came from? He brought them back from M country when he returned to Huaxia. I don't know where they came from. The source of the gene toxin was basically clear. Qin Haodong asked again. Did you guys arrange for the two people who went to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association's free clinic to blackmail you? I found those two people, and the medicine was my brother's. Why did you come to my place to blackmail me? Wang Daji said. Because there are too many people on your side. My brother's Hall of Medical Fame is inferior. So he asked me to make some trouble for you to ruin the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. The second thing was also clear. Wang Desheng did it. Qin Haodong asked again. What about Zhang Guoyang's death? Why did you kill him? Wang Daji said. Who is Zhang Guoyang? I don't know. I didn't kill anyone. He's a Chinese medicine practitioner from the Hall of Medical Fame. I don't know him. It was impossible to lie under mind bewitching. It seemed that he had to ask Wang Desheng about this matter. He slapped Wang Daji unconscious, and then left the hotel with Nailan Wuxia. After Zhang Guoyang left the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, Wang Desheng was not in a hurry to leave. He sat on the sofa and waited for news. Not long after, his phone rang. Young master, that person crashed into a dirt truck. He's dead. That's for the best. It saves us the trouble of taking action. Wang Desheng hung up the phone with a smile, then picked up the wine bottle next to him, poured himself a glass of red wine, and slowly sipped it. Now that Zhang Guoyang was dead, no one in this world knew about the existence of the Jiubao kidney-nourishing pill. What he needed to think about now was how to make the remnant prescription in his hands play the most role. Just as he was deep in thought, a noise came from outside the building. The bodyguard originally wanted to stop Nailan Wuxia and Qin Haodong, but he was knocked to the ground quickly. Looking at the monitor, Wang Desheng sneered. I didn't expect that they would come so fast. He opened the drawer and took out a small bottle. He took a white pill out of it and swallowed it. Then he picked up the red wine on the table and took a sip. As soon as he finished all this, the door was kicked open from the outside. Qin Haodong and Nailan Wuxia walked in. Seeing them enter the door, Wang Desheng smiled and said, Nailan Wuxia, you are the captain of the crime squad. How can you enter the door in such a rude way? Nailan Wuxia said, Wang Desheng, you are now a suspect of intentional homicide. Tell me, what happened to Zhang Guoyang's death? Is Zhang Guoyang dead? Wang Desheng's face showed a trace of shock, and then he said with regret, he is a good doctor I hired with a lot of money. How could he die like this? How did he die? People who didn't know the truth would be deceived by his performance. It was a pity that he didn't go to the film and television industry with his acting skills. Nailan Wuxia wanted to say something, but Qin Haodong pulled her behind him and said, Don't talk nonsense with him. Let me do it. He looked at Wang Desheng and asked with mind bewitching, Why did you come back to Huaxia this time? This question had been in his mind for a long time. He was worried that Wang Desheng would do something bad to traditional Chinese medicine. Confusion flashed in Wang Desheng's eyes as he said, I came back to Huaxia to start a business. I want to make a fortune through the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Is there anything bad about traditional Chinese medicine? No, I just saw that Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was making money, so I also want to make a fortune from the traditional Chinese medicine industry. After confirming that this guy didn't want to do harm to traditional Chinese medicine, Qin Haodong secretly breathed a sigh of relief and asked, Where did you get those genetic toxins? I brought them from M country before I returned to Huaxia. A friend of mine did research in this area, so I bought some from him. Why did you buy these things? I didn't think so much at the time. I just thought that they might be useful in the future, so I prepared some to bring back. Qin Haodong asked, Did you do the scam at the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association today? I asked Wang Daji to do it. There were too many people in your free clinic, so you completely stole the limelight of the Hall of Medical Fame. I gave him some medicine and asked him to find some people to make trouble for you and ruin the reputation of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Qin Haodong asked, What happened to Zhang Guoyang's death? Why did you kill him? I don't know. I don't know how Zhang Guoyang died. He was just here talking to me about something. He asked me to send his son to M country to study, I had no reason to kill him. Hearing this answer, Qin Haodong frowned. There was no doubt that Zhang Guoyang had genetic toxins in his body. But if it wasn't Wang Desheng who did it, was there someone else in Jiangnan City who had this kind of thing? It was very unlikely. Even if someone else had genetic toxins, why would they kill a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner? Moreover, the last person Zhang Guoyang had contact with was Wang Desheng. Thinking of this, Qin Haodong looked at Wang Desheng again. He was sure that Wang Desheng couldn't lie under the mind-bewitching skill. It was really strange. Qin Haodong couldn't figure it out. Now that the questions were almost finished, Qin Haodong turned around and left the Hall of Medical Fame with Nailan Wuxia. After getting in the car, Nailan Wuxia asked, "If it wasn't Wang Desheng who did it?" Qin Haodong said, "Logically speaking, it does seem like Wang Desheng did it, but he said it wasn't him. If it wasn't him, who else could it be? Is it possible that Wang Desheng is lying? That's impossible. I asked him in a very special way, similar to deep hypnosis. In this case, it's impossible for him to lie." Nailan Wuxia thought for a moment and said, "If that's the case, it's terrible that there is another person in Jiangnan City who has genetic toxins." She had now deeply experienced the horror of genetic toxins. If it hadn't been for Qin Haodong, others wouldn't have found this kind of toxin. It could kill people invisibly. Qin Haodong said, "This is really strange. Zhang Guoyang is just an ordinary Chinese medicine practitioner. He's not very good in Chinese medicine. Why would someone use expensive genetic toxins to kill him? What's the secret behind it?" Nailan Wuxia said, "Don't think about it if you can't figure it out. If you want to deal with Wang Desheng, I'll find someone to arrest him now. After all, he sent people to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association's free clinic to blackmail. The two people blackmailed 10 million yuan on the spot. Although they didn't succeed, they will be sentenced to 8 or 10 years in prison. Correspondingly, Wang Desheng, the mastermind behind the scenes, will also bear serious consequences." Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "Did you notice just now? Wang Desheng said that he only asked the two people to make trouble, not to blackmail. In this case, at most, they will be detained for public security. Anyway, he is Momo's classmate and Che Xiaoxiao's boyfriend. There's no need to trouble him because of this." Nailan Wuxia said, "Well, that's it for the time being. I'll investigate it tomorrow and see if I can dig out other clues from Zhang Guoyang." Qin Haodong nodded. The clues had been completely cut off, so he could only think of a way slowly. After they left, Wang Desheng also left the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and drove back home. After entering the bedroom, he closed the door and took out the mobile phone from the drawer. He dialed a series of numbers. After briefly telling what had happened today, he said, "Boss, Qin Haodong is really not easy to deal with. Now he's suspicious of me." The voice on the other side said coldly, "I told you before returning to Huaxia. How could your idiot brother be exposed to genetic toxins? If not, he wouldn't have suspected you so quickly." "I'm sorry, boss. I was careless," Wang Desheng said, "but I've made a remedy. Before Qin Haodong came, I took the latest memory reorganization potion developed by our company and reorganized the memory in my brain. Our previous prediction was right. Qin Haodong does have some skills similar to hypnosis. He hypnotized me, but what he got was the answer I prepared in advance. Now it's a good thing. I believe that he suspected me when I returned to China and set foot in the traditional Chinese medicine industry. Through this matter, he should be relieved of his suspicion." The voice on the other side of the phone said, "Well, that's it for now. You must be careful in the future. Don't destroy the organization's plan." Wang Desheng said, "Don't worry, boss. There is some progress in this matter now. I happen to get a traditional Chinese medicine prescription, which will be very useful for our plan. You did a good job, but you have to hurry up. It's best to find a way to stop the sales of Tangmin Company. You know, every day that the blood revival elixir is sold will cause great losses to our company. You have to overthrow traditional Chinese medicine and the blood revival elixir as soon as possible. After that, the organization will give you a big reward. Similarly, if you fail, wait for the organization's punishment." After that, he hung up the phone. Wang Desheng also put away his mobile phone with a heavy face. He seemed to be enjoying the limelight when he returned to China, but only he knew how much pressure he was under. The next day, Qin Haodong received information from Nayland Wuxia. Zhang Guoyang had carried out an autopsy. He had indeed not had dinner, and the possibility of drinking a lot had been ruled out. However, other than that, no useful clues had been found. After asking a few more questions, Qin Haodong hung up the phone. There was nothing he could do now. He could only wait for the other party to show his fox tail again. Chapter 328. Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company was now on the right track. Production and sales were in order. Qin Haodong looked around and found that there was nothing else for him to do, so he drove to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. After entering the door, Gao Fengwen held a newspaper and said, "President, look, our free clinic yesterday was very successful. It has completely made the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association famous." Then he handed the newspaper to Qin Haodong. The headline on the front page said, "The Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association gathers the power of traditional Chinese medicine." Qin Haodong took the newspaper and looked at it. The whole page was about the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. He nodded and said, "Yes, it's a good thing. President, there's more." Gao Fengwen excitedly took a few more newspapers. Old people like them were not familiar with new media, such as mobile phones and computers. Newspapers were still their main channel for information. At this time, Shen Xiangfu came in from outside with his little apprentice. When he saw Qin Haodong, he said excitedly, "President, yesterday our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association was really famous. Now the internet is full of our news." Then he waved to his little apprentice and asked him to find the news for the president. The little apprentice quickly turned on his mobile phone and showed the news about the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association to Qin Haodong. The Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, the hope of the rise of traditional Chinese medicine again. With a kind heart, the Jiangnan Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association went to the street to treat the masses. The medical sage reappeared with magical medical skills, brought the dead back to life, and revealed the true face of blackmail. There were also some negative news about the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. On the front page, the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame confronted each other on the street. The Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association was better. The Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame challenged the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association and failed. The challenge was not as good as the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. Does the Hall of Medical Fame really have famous doctors? Qin Haodong smiled slightly. These were all within his expectations. No matter how well Wang Desheng's Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame did, it had added a lot of gimmicks to traditional Chinese medicine and made the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association famous. Now the whole country knew about the existence of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. They chatted for a while, and Qin Haodong said to Gao Fengwen, "Mr. Gao, how about handing over the secret prescriptions?" Gao Fengwen said, "Under the leadership of the president, everyone was very enthusiastic and shared their unique skills. According to your request, the association also provided a certain amount of funds as compensation." Qin Haodong said, "Did you get any valuable prescriptions?" Gao Fengwen said, "Through these exchanges, the medical skills of the members of our association have indeed been improved. However, the prescriptions that we have come up with are very limited. Most of them need to feel the pulse first, and then use them according to the condition. They can't be mass-produced like the blood revival elixir." Qin Haodong was not surprised by this. The blood revival elixir was derived from the blood revival elixir. It was a prescription he had brought from the cultivation world. How could it appear so easily? "President, someone wants to join our Chinese Medical Association." While they were chatting, Zhong Sihai walked in from the outside with a red face, followed by a middle-aged man in his 40s. This is the president of our Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, Medical Sage Qin Haodong. He introduced Qin Haodong and the middle-aged man. This is Dr. Xie Tianxia. He wants to join our Chinese Medicine Association. Since he was brought by Zhong Sihai, he must have inspected him. Qin Haodong shook hands with Xie Tian and said warmly, "Welcome to the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association." Xie Tian smiled and said, "I've heard of the medical sage for a long time. The reason why I want to join the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is because of your reputation." Qin Haodong said politely, "Dr. Xie, you flatter me." Xie Tian said, "Dr. Qin, to tell you the truth, the reason why I want to join the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association is that I want you to help me promote a prescription. As long as you agree, I will join the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association. If you don't agree, I will have to leave." After listening to him, Zhong Sihai's face changed. Xie Tian hadn't said that just now. Now it seemed that this person's motive for joining the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association was not pure. He was too utilitarian. Qin Haodong said, "Dr. Xie, if you are willing to join the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, I will welcome you with both hands. But I hope that your motive is really for the sake of Chinese medicine, and you don't want to mix it with other things." Xie Tian said, "Dr. Qin, in fact this is not contradictory. My prescription is a pure Chinese medicine prescription, which belongs to the ancestral secret prescription of our Xie family. It's just that there was no way to promote it before. If it can really be promoted with the help of Dr. Qin's Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, it will be a great good thing for Chinese medicine and patients all over Huaxia." As he spoke, he took out a piece of A4 paper and handed it to Qin Haodong. "Dr. Qin, don't be in a hurry to refuse. Take a look at my prescription first." Qin Haodong thought about it and didn't say anything. He took the A4 paper and put it on the table. Gao Fengwen and the others were also curious, so they all poked their heads over to have a look. The name of the prescription was 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill, and the prescription of the medicine was written below. Gao Fengwen took the lead and said, "Wonderful, these 8 ingredients are all ordinary traditional Chinese medicine. I have never thought of combining them into medicine. According to the pharmacology, it should have a very good effect on diseases caused by kidneys. Good, it is indeed a good prescription." Shen Xiangfu and Zhong Sihai also saw the rarity of the 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. They nodded and praised. Good, it is indeed a good prescription. It is much better than the ones we have collected these days." Xie Tian said proudly, "Dr. Qin, the 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill is the ancestral secret prescription of our Xie family. It is absolutely suitable for any kind of kidney disease, impotence, mourning. It has a very good therapeutic effect on uremia, and there are no side effects. It can be produced in large quantities. To be honest, once the 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill comes out, I predict that the market will definitely not be weaker than that of your blood revival pill." Qin Haodong put down the prescription, looked at him and said, "Aren't you afraid that I will take such a good prescription for myself after reading it?" Xie Tian said, "To be honest, I had the idea of producing this prescription a long time ago, but I didn't find a suitable businessman. In my opinion, those businessmen are profit-seeking. If I give them the prescription, they will probably take it for themselves, and I won't get a penny. However, Mr. Medical Sage is different. I can see from your blood revival pill that in order to treat the people of Huaxia, you only sell it at the cost price and don't make a huge profit from it. It is absolutely rare to see a benevolent businessman like you in the world. That's why I took out this prescription. I believe that Mr. Medical Sage will not let me down. As a doctor, I don't want to seek too much profit from medicine. As long as you double the cost and give me half of the profit, it will be fine. Or you can buy this prescription directly." Qin Haodong said, "Cooperation is too troublesome. It would be best if you are willing to sell this prescription. Tell me, how much do you want?" 100 million yuan. Xie Tian stretched out a finger and said, "I think my prescription is absolutely worth this price. If I didn't have the attitude of learning from Mr. Medical Sage, I would sell it for at least 500 million yuan. Qin Haodong didn't say anything and said, let's put the price aside for now. Let me try your medicine first. From the bottom of his heart, he also felt that this prescription was good and should have a very good effect on treating human kidney diseases. However, he didn't know why he always had a bad feeling, as if this prescription was a little strange. You can try it. I have no problem with it. Xie Tian agreed confidently. In order to facilitate communication, the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association opened a huge medicine testing room with all kinds of Chinese medicinal materials. Although the quantity was not too much, it was better to have a complete variety. Qin Haodong and Gao Fengwen came to the room together. According to the type and quantity of the medicinal materials recorded on the prescription, Qin Haodong grabbed 8 medicinal materials from the medicine box. Qin Haodong grabbed the medicinal materials casually, but the quantity was exactly the same as what was marked on the prescription. It seemed that Qin Haodong grabbed the medicinal materials casually, but the quantity was exactly the same as what was marked on the prescription. Soon, the medicinal materials were grabbed and put into a medicine pot to boil. About an hour later, the medicinal materials were cooked. Qin Haodong took a spoon from the medicine pot, scooped a little medicine from the medicine pot, put it into his mouth, and slowly tasted it. Gao Fengwen, Shen Xiangfu, and the others also began to taste the medicine in the pot. Although this medicine was called 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill, for those who have been dealing with Chinese medicine for a lifetime, it was only a matter of form whether it was a soup or a pill. It didn't affect the efficacy of the medicine at all. About 3 minutes later, they slowly opened their eyes. Qin Haodong said to Gao Fengwen, "Seniors, what do you think?" Gao Fengwen took the lead and said, "Yes, this medicine is pure, and it does have the effect of strengthening the body and eliminating pathogens for kidney diseases." Shen Xiangfu said, "I think so too. This medicine is definitely a good prescription for kidney diseases." Zhong Sihai said, "It's certain that this medicine is effective for kidney diseases, but whether it can treat uremia or not needs further research." All 3 of them were sure of the effect of 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill, but Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "There's no need to research. There's something wrong with this medicine. I can't buy it." "What? There's something wrong with the medicine?" Xie Tian immediately became anxious and said with a red face, "Mr. Medical Sage, this is a good thing passed down by our ancestors. After several generations of verification, there's absolutely no problem with the medicine." Gao Fengwen also said, "Yes, President. I felt it. The effect of this medicine is very pure, and it should be very effective for kidney diseases." Qin Haodong said, "That's right." The 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill can indeed treat all kinds of kidney diseases. Shen Xiangfu asked in surprise, "President, what's the problem you mentioned?" Qin Haodong said, "I don't know if you felt it just now. Although this medicine has an excellent nourishing effect on the kidney meridians, it contains a burning qi. After taking it, it will immediately attack the Juyan liver meridian of the foot, causing great harm to the liver." As Emperor Greenwood, he knew the properties of all kinds of Chinese herbs like the back of his hand. He soon found the defect of the 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill. Zhong Sihai and the other 2 picked up the spoon again, scooped some medicine from the pot, and put it into their mouths slowly. A few minutes later, Gao Fengwen opened his eyes and said, "The president is right. There is indeed a burning qi attacking the Juyan liver meridian of the foot." Shen Xiangfu said, "Just now, our attention was fixed on Shengbu, so we didn't notice the changes in the liver. Now it seems that this medicine is indeed defective." What did Xie Tian want to say? However, he couldn't defend himself in front of these Chinese medicine masters. "Mr. Medical Sage, this medicine is definitely effective for kidney diseases. How about I sell it to you at a lower price? How about 50 million? How about this 30 million is fine?" In a hurry, he lowered the price of the prescription one after another. Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "If I'm not wrong, The 8 Treasures Kidney Nourishing Pill is only an incomplete prescription. It still lacks a medicinal material that can calm the burning qi. If you add that medicine, it will definitely be a good prescription, but now it has no value. Chapter 329. After a pause, he added, "If you give this medicine to a patient, the patient's liver will be burned before the kidney disease is cured. This is not a good medicine but a deadly poison. If you can complete the prescription, I'll buy it for 300 million yuan. If it's just an incomplete prescription, I won't buy it even if it's 3 pieces." Xie Tian cried, You're talking nonsense. You're jealous. Our family's prescription is passed down from generation to generation. How could it have side effects? Is it a secret prescription passed down from generation to generation? You must have used it all these years. You've cured a few patients with this prescription. Call me and let me have a look. If there are really no side effects, I'll give you 1 billion yuan. Xie Tian said angrily. It's okay if you don't know what's good for you. If you don't want my prescription, someone else will. Then he turned around and left. Qin Haodong said lightly, Keep your prescription and don't use it indiscriminately. Otherwise, you can't afford the consequences. Xie Tian's footsteps paused for a moment. Then he left without looking back. Zhong Sihai said guiltily, President, I'm sorry. I didn't investigate him carefully. I didn't expect him to be such a person. Qin Haodong said, It has nothing to do with you. Gao Fengwen said, It's a pity. If there were no side effects, it would definitely cure many people. Qin Haodong was silent. With his mastery of medicine, he could completely complete the missing medicine, as long as he spent some time. Shen Xiangfu said, President, do you think this person will sell this incomplete prescription to others? Qin Haodong said, I'm not sure. I hope he can keep the bottom line of a doctor, and not be blinded by money. Half an hour later, Xie Tian appeared in Wang Desheng's office of the Hall of Medical Fame. Wang Desheng was talking and laughing with Che Xiaoxiao. When he saw Xie Tian enter the door, he said politely, Dr. Xie, you smoke. As he spoke, he picked up the cigarette box on the table, but found that it was empty. He smiled apologetically and said to Che Xiaoxiao, Xiao, I finished smoking. Can you go out and buy me a pack of cigarettes? Okay, I'll go now. After saying that, Che Xiaoxiao left the office. Seeing that she had gone far, Wang Desheng closed the office door, turned around and asked, How's it going? Xie Tian said, Young master, Qin Haodong is too vigilant. He even found out that our prescription is incomplete, and pointed out that it's missing a medicine. He wouldn't accept it even if we gave it to him, let alone spend money. He even warned me not to use this prescription in the future. This kid is really cunning. Since I can't borrow his hand, I'll do it myself. Wang Desheng opened the drawer, took out a plane ticket and a bank card, and threw them to Xie Tian. Go to Europe for a few days, and come back in half a month. Remember, don't tell anyone about this. I understand, young master. Xie Tian took the plane ticket and bank card, turned around and walked out. 5 minutes later, Che Xiaoxiao walked in with a pack of Chinese cigarettes. Where are the guests? You're leaving so soon? He's in a hurry, so he left first. Wang Desheng took the cigarettes, opened a pack, took out a cigarette, and put it in his mouth. After taking 2 puffs, he said, Dr. Xie's family has an ancestral prescription. I just bought it for 10 million yuan. Our company's traditional Chinese medicine factory will be able to quantify the production soon. Che Xiaoxiao asked, What prescription? Didn't you try it? Is it good? I bought it for 10 million yuan. Of course I have to know. Wang Desheng held Che Xiaoxiao in his arms and said, This is a prescription for kidney nourishment. Impotence. Morning. It's very effective for diarrhea and uremia. I tried it last night. What do you think of the effect? You're so annoying. Che Xiaoxiao blushed and said, Since the effect is so good, when can we start production? Time is money. Of course, the sooner the better. Now it's said that Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Group is suppressing our Hall of Medical Fame. We have to make some achievements as soon as possible to prove that I, Wang Desheng, am no worse than Qin Haodong. Che Xiaoxiao said. Desheng, in fact, you don't have to always compare with Qin Haodong. We just have to be ourselves. How can I do that? I want you to see that your man is the best. Wang Desheng said. I arranged for people to purchase medicinal materials yesterday. Now I'm organizing people to produce it. I'll hold a press conference in the afternoon and start the official sale tomorrow. Isn't it too fast? Che Xiaoxiao was quite surprised. She didn't expect Wang Desheng to have arranged everything. Wang Desheng said, I just want to make some achievements as soon as possible. When our medicine is successful, I'll marry you immediately. Really? Desheng, you're not lying to me, are you? Are you really going to marry me? Che Xiaoxiao's voice trembled with excitement. For so many years, she had dreamed countless times that Wang Desheng could marry her. She didn't expect that her dream would come true so soon. Wang Desheng said, Of course it's true. You've waited for me for so many years and suffered so much. I want to repay you for the rest of my life. Desheng, you're so kind to me. Che Xiaoxiao threw herself into Wang Desheng's arms and couldn't help crying. Silly girl, it's a good thing that we're going to get married. Why are you crying? Wang Desheng held Che Xiaoxiao in his arms, patted her on the back and said, Well, don't cry. Get ready. You'll play the leading role in this afternoon's press conference. I won't go. Why don't you go? I want you to accompany me. Che Xiaoxiao said coquettishly. Don't forget that you're the president of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. I need you to make money to support me in the future. I can't stay with you all the time. Besides, I have something important to do in the afternoon. What's the matter? Wang Desheng said. It's a secret for now. All right then. Che Xiaoxiao didn't say anything more. In fact, she was a typical strong woman. After her parents died, she relied on her own ability to conquer the world and become the gold medal general manager of Dreamy Jiangnan. Her ability was absolutely superb. She only showed her dependence in front of Wang Desheng. After lunch, Wang Desheng left the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Che Xiaoxiao carefully read the information left by Wang Desheng and held a press conference at 2 p.m. After the conference began, Che Xiaoxiao officially announced to the media that the first product was about to be released. A reporter stood up and asked, President Che, I want to ask, what's the name of your company's first product? What's its main effect? Che Xiaoxiao said, Our first product is called the Treasure Tablet for Kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame. It mainly treats diseases caused by the kidney. The reporter asked again, President Che, can I understand it as an aphrodisiac? As he asked this question, there was a burst of laughter under the stage. Che Xiaoxiao smiled slightly and said, Although our treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame can make men more masculine, it's not only an aphrodisiac, but also can effectively treat diseases such as uremia. Another reporter asked, President Che, when will your treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame be available to patients? Che Xiaoxiao said, The treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame has already been produced and packaged. The first product will be on sale tomorrow morning. The specific sales location has been announced on our company's website. President Che, I logged into your company's website and saw the distribution of the sales locations. I found a problem. These sales locations are next to the sales locations of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. Is there any special meaning to this? Does it mean that your company's products are ready to challenge the blood revival elixir? Che Xiaoxiao said, Our company's sales locations are indeed a little closer to the sales locations of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, but there is no special meaning to it. We just want to ride on the popularity of the blood revival elixir. It's not a challenge at all. The sales locations had been set by Wang Desheng before. In his words, it was to challenge the blood revival elixir and Qin Haodong. Due to her relationship with Lin Momo, Che Xiaoxiao didn't like this choice, but she had no choice but to give the reporters an answer in her own way. President Che, what's the selling price of the treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame? Che Xiaoxiao hesitated for a moment and said with a little embarrassment, 680 yuan per box. After she finished speaking, there was an uproar. The price of 680 yuan was also set by Wang Desheng. It was the same price and the same sales location. Even a fool wouldn't believe that there was no intention to challenge the blood revival elixir. At the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association, Qin Haodong, Gao Fengwen, and the others watched the live broadcast of the press conference of the Hall of Medical Fame. Gao Fengwen said angrily, "What is this woman doing? She should just focus on developing her own medicine. Why is she targeting Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company? I really don't know who gave her the confidence." Qin Haodong just smiled. He knew very well that it was all Wang Desheng's doing. Che Xiaoxiao was just a cover. At the same time, he was also a little curious. Normally, Wang Desheng would come out and brag about it, or at least trample on Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company verbally. However, this guy had disappeared, which was really puzzling. When he heard the effect of the treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame, Shen Xiangfu suddenly thought of something and said, "President, you just refused Xie Tian's prescription," and the Hall of Medical Fame began to produce the treasure tablet for kidney. Do you think it has something to do with that prescription? Did he sell it to the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame? Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, "I don't think so. Wang Desheng is not a fool. Even if he got the prescription of the 8 treasures kidney nourishing pill, he should have found someone to carefully study and analyze it. Even if he couldn't find the problem, he wouldn't have started production so soon." Zhong Sihai also said, "I think so. It takes a few days to get a prescription, from research and verification to purchasing raw materials for production. It can't be so fast." They talked for a while. When the press conference was over, Qin Haodong drove back to Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. After entering the door, Lin Momo said, "Haodong, you're not angry with Xiaoxiao, are you?" She had just watched the press conference. Although she was a little uncomfortable with the provocation of the Hall of Medical Fame, Che Xiaoxiao was her best friend. She didn't want Qin Haodong and Che Xiaoxiao to have a conflict. Qin Haodong held her cheek in his hand and kissed her sexy little mouth gently. He said, "How can I be so stingy? Xiaoxiao is just a cover. It's Wang Desheng who makes the final decision." Lin Momo breathed a sigh of relief and said, "I don't know what's wrong with Wang Desheng's brain. Why does he want to go against us in the traditional Chinese medicine industry? Besides, the blood revival pill and the treasure tablet for kidney are not the same kind of drugs. There is no competitive relationship at all." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Maybe it's because love turns into hatred, or maybe he's jealous that I'm more handsome than him. Who knows what he's thinking? But it doesn't matter. He's just a small fish that can't set off any big waves." While they were talking, Lu Yage hurried in from outside and said to the two of them breathlessly, "Oh no, something happened." Chapter 330. What's wrong? What's the matter? Qin Haodong asked. Lu Yage was usually steady. Something that could make her so flustered was definitely not a trivial matter. "Our medicinal materials are going to be out of stock," Lu Yage said nervously. Lin Momo asked, "Out of stock? How is that possible? Why don't we go to the medicinal materials market to buy them? The company is not short of money." Lu Yage said, "President, it's not about money. I just took people to the medicinal materials wholesale market. But there was no medicinal material. Even if we had money, we couldn't buy it." Lin Momo said, "How is it possible that there is no medicinal material?" Lu Yage's statement surprised her. The medicinal materials wholesale market in the south of the Yangtze River was also a large market. How could they not buy medicine? There is no medicinal material. It has just been bought out. Lin Momo asked, "Bought out? Who did it?" Qin Haodong said, "Needless to say, it must be Wang Desheng. No wonder I didn't see him at the press conference just now. It turns out that he went to take drastic measures." Lu Yage said, "Dr. Qin is right. I inquired about it in the medicinal materials market. It was indeed people from the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame Who bought all the medicinal materials? Lin Momo's face immediately became ugly. Anyway, she and Wang Desheng were classmates. She didn't expect this guy to do things so ruthlessly. She asked, Sister Lu, how many medicinal materials are stored in our company? How long can we use them? We need 12 kinds of medicinal materials to produce the blood revival elixir. There are a lot of medicinal materials that can support us for about half a month. But there is a medicinal material that was out of stock a few days ago. So there is only 1 day left. If we can't buy the medicinal materials today, we will stop production tomorrow. No, we must not stop production. Lin Momo said angrily. I'm going to find Wang Desheng now. Qin Haodong stopped her and said, It's no use. He wants us to beg him now. Even if we beg, we will only be ridiculed. It won't solve any problem. Lin Momo said angrily. But why did he buy all the medicinal materials and leave none for us? Qin Haodong said. Although his method is despicable, he bought it with money. He didn't steal it or rob it. It's reasonable and legal. What can you do? Lin Momo also knew this, but she was a little angry. She said, What should we do? We can't just stand by and do nothing, right? Don't worry, there will always be a way. Qin Haodong turned to look at Lu Yage and asked, Sister Lu, have you tried other ways? Have you asked other medicinal material markets around Jiangnan City if we can buy the medicinal materials we need? Lu Yage shook her head and said, The medicinal materials market in Jiangnan City is the nearby medicinal materials center. If we run out of stock here, there will be no stock in other places. Only the medicinal materials market in Shanghai can guarantee the stock, but it will take 3 days to go back and forth. It's far away. Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, Don't worry, the factory is producing normally. I'll take care of the medicinal materials. Get the vehicles ready and wait for my call. Although she didn't know what he could do, Lu Yage could only nod and agree. Qin Haodong left Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company and went to the medicinal materials wholesale market in Jiangnan City. As Lu Yage had said, the usually bustling medicinal materials market was now deserted and empty. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Wang Desheng dared to play dirty. Then let's all play dirty. Let's see who can win. After the press conference of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame, Che Xiaoxiao hurried to the production workshop of the traditional Chinese medicine factory. After all, she was now the legal representative and president of the whole company. From the bottom of her heart, she had regarded all of this as her and Wang Desheng's industry. She must do it well. When she hurried to the traditional Chinese medicine factory of the Hall of Medical Fame, she found that the yard was very lively. It was full of large and small trucks, filled with all kinds of medicinal materials. What was going on? Although it was a traditional Chinese medicine factory, the quantity needed was not so large, and there were not so many varieties. Why did someone buy so many useless medicinal materials? She looked around and saw Wang Desheng, who was directing the medicinal materials to move into the warehouse. She hurried over and said, Desheng, what are you doing? Why did you buy so many medicinal materials? Wang Desheng smiled proudly and said, We are a traditional Chinese medicine factory. Naturally, we need to buy more medicinal materials. What if we run out of stock? But they don't need so many medicinal materials. I've seen the formula of the treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame. It only needs 8 kinds of medicinal materials. Why did you buy so many? Wang Desheng said, The Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Factory keeps the formula of the blood revival elixir tightly. I don't know what medicine they use, so I just bought them all. Now there is no medicine in the medicinal materials market. I want to see what they use to produce it. Che Xiaoxiao suddenly opened her mouth and asked in surprise. This? Desheng, did you buy so many medicinal materials just to cheat the Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Factory? Yes, there are no medicinal materials now. No matter how powerful Qin Haodong is, he can't produce medicinal materials by himself, can he? Desheng, how can you do this? Isn't this harming others without benefiting yourself? Che Xiaoxiao finally understood what Wang Desheng was going to do. It turned out that he was going to empty the entire medicinal materials wholesale market. Wang Desheng laughed and said, I'm harming others without benefiting myself. I don't believe that a little doctor can beat me. Che Xiaoxiao wanted to get angry, but she restrained herself and said, But it will cost a lot of money. We don't need to do this at all. You don't have to worry about the money, as long as I'm happy. Wang Desheng knew that even if he emptied the entire medicinal materials market, it would only cost him tens of millions of yuan. However, the sales of the blood revival elixir cost his organization at least hundreds of millions of yuan a day. Although this method seemed a little low-end, it was indeed effective. It could make Tangmen Traditional Chinese Medicine Company stop production in a short time. This, Che Xiaoxiao wanted to stop Wang Desheng, but she couldn't do anything about it. The medicinal materials had been bought, so they could only be put in the warehouse. Wang Desheng said, Xiaoxiao, go back and have a rest. I'll take care of it. Che Xiaoxiao was a little annoyed looking at the carts of medicinal materials. She nodded and turned to leave the traditional Chinese medicine factory. Wang Desheng organized the medicinal materials to be put into the warehouse. When the sun went down, all the medicinal materials were finally put into the warehouse. He waved to the security captain and said, You must send people to guard in shifts tonight. If even one medicinal material is lost, you'll be fired. Don't worry, boss. I'll ask someone to do it now. Although the security captain didn't understand why someone would come here to steal medicinal materials, he agreed without hesitation. After all, the boss was holding his job. After doing all this, Wang Desheng nodded with satisfaction and sneered in his heart. Let's see how you produce without medicinal materials. Wang Desheng left the traditional Chinese medicine factory. At that time, the sun was setting and the night was getting darker. The security captain followed Wang Desheng's instructions and arranged his men to guard around the warehouse. Keep your spirits up and watch the medicinal materials here. If even one is lost, you'll all be fired. After reprimanding his men, the security captain secretly drove away from the traditional Chinese medicine factory. He had just made an appointment with a young woman on the internet that day. He was going to have a good time tonight. He didn't take Wang Desheng's warning to heart. Although a large number of medicinal materials had been shipped in that day, they were not very valuable. Who would steal them? Moreover, there were so many medicinal materials. Unless they were loaded in a large truck, how many could be stolen? He didn't take these medicinal materials seriously, so his security guards naturally didn't take them seriously either. After he left, they gathered together, chatted, smoked, played poker, and some even began to doze off. No one noticed that a ghost-like shadow had appeared in the yard. In the face of these loose security guards, Qin Haodong just smiled and entered the warehouse in the blink of an eye. Looking at the pile of medicinal materials, he was secretly amused. Wang Desheng was really willing to spend a lot of money to buy so many medicinal materials to fight against him. It must have cost at least tens of millions of yuan. However, as long as Qin Haodong was here, this kind of child's play would not work at all. It would only save him a sum of money to buy medicinal materials. Thinking of this, his mind moved, and all the medicinal materials needed to produce the blood revival elixir were put into his storage ring. Originally, he wanted to empty the entire warehouse, but then he thought that it would be too noisy and easy to arouse suspicion. It was better not to expose the secret of the storage ring. After doing all this, he turned and left the warehouse. The security guards outside were still playing poker. No one knew that a large number of medicinal materials had been lost in the warehouse. Looking back at the security guards, he felt that it was a little unreasonable to take away the medicinal materials like this. He took out half of the ecstasy elixir, crushed it, and scattered it in the air. Although he had only used half of it, it was enough for these security guards to sleep until tomorrow night. After leaving the traditional Chinese medicine factory of the Hall of Medical Fame, he didn't go home directly. Instead, he turned around and went to the Wang family's villa. In recent days, Wang Desheng had caused trouble for him again and again, so he had to collect some interest. Compared with the security guards of the traditional Chinese medicine factory, the bodyguards of the Wang family's villa were much more dutiful. However, in Qin Haodong's eyes, There was not much difference whether they were there or not. In the blink of an eye, he entered the villa. The Wang family's villa was really big, with a total of 5 floors. It was already midnight, and the Wang family had fallen asleep. The whole building was quiet. Qin Haodong searched floor by floor and finally found the room where Wang Desheng was. He put his hand on the door lock and gently shook it. He opened the door and came to Wang Desheng's bed. He first hit Wang Desheng's sleeping acupoint, then stretched out his right hand. The 1,000 blades appeared in his palm, and then he turned his wrist and chopped at Wang Desheng's head. Of course, he didn't really want to kill Wang Desheng. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone through so much trouble. The 1,000 blades flashed, and soon Wang Desheng's shiny black hair was shaved off. In the blink of an eye, he became bald. The effect is not bad. Qin Haodong looked at Wang Desheng's bald head and was very satisfied with his saber technique. However, he always felt that something was missing. Shaving his head was not enough to vent his resentment. Thinking of this, he raised the tip of the saber and lifted Wang Desheng's quilt. When the quilt was lifted, Wang Desheng turned out to be in level 1 sleep, completely naked. The 1,000 blades in Qin Haodong's hand once again turned into a ray of cold light. In a breath, Wang Desheng's second-in-command also became bald. Qin Haodong smirked. "Boy, this is a lesson for you. If you dare to go against me in the future, I will cut more than just your hair." After that, he turned and left the Wang family's villa, leaving Wang Desheng, who had been shaved bald. Chapter 331. After leaving the Wang family, Qin Haodong went directly out of the city and chose a secluded open space in the suburbs. He took out all the medicinal materials in the storage ring and put them on the ground. Then he took out his mobile phone and dialed Lu Yage's number. According to Qin Haodong's instructions, Lu Yage had been preparing the car and waiting for the phone call. However, after midnight there was still no news. She could not help but sigh secretly. It seemed that she was not omnipotent. After all, she still could not find the medicinal materials. Just then, the phone on the bedside rang. Lu Yage grabbed the phone, as if she had been electrocuted, and pressed the answer button. "Dr. Qin, have you found the medicinal materials?" "The medicinal materials have been prepared. I sent you the address. Arrange someone to transport them immediately." Qin Haodong hung up the phone and sent his mobile phone location to her. After receiving the message, Lu Yage personally led the team with 5 trucks that had been prepared and rushed to Qin Haodong's location. When she arrived at the appointed place and saw the piles of medicinal materials in front of her, Lu Yage asked in surprise, "Haodong, how did you get these? Why are the medicinal materials here?" "Don't ask. As long as you can guarantee the production tomorrow, you go ahead. I'll go back to sleep." Qin Haodong did not want to say too much. After that, he got in the car and returned to the Lin's villa. The next day, Che Xiaoxiao came to the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame early. When she found that Wang Desheng had not arrived, she took out her mobile phone and dialed his number. Wang Desheng slept very soundly that night. He was awakened by a harsh ringtone. He reluctantly grabbed the phone and pressed the answer button. On the other side of the phone, Che Xiaoxiao said, "Desheng, what time is it? Why don't you get up?" Wang Desheng glanced at the bedside alarm clock. It was already 9 o'clock in the morning. He said, "I've been too tired these days. I overslept." As he spoke, he sat up in bed in a daze. Suddenly, he found that there was a lot of hair on the bed sheet. "Hair? What's this?" Wang Desheng grabbed a strand of black hair and looked at it carefully. It seemed to be hair. This time, he immediately woke up and raised his hand to touch his head. It was completely bald and smooth, without a single strand of hair. "Lie. Damn, where's my hair?" Wang Desheng hurriedly came to the mirror and looked at himself. A big bald head appeared in the mirror. The skin of his head was shiny, and it was even cleaner than a barber shaved. What was going on? Even if I lose my hair, I can't possibly lose it all overnight, right? While he was puzzled, he suddenly found that some of the fallen hair was bent. What was going on? I didn't even perm my hair. Why is there this kind of hair? At this time, He looked at the second leader in the mirror. He was also bald, without a single strand of hair. The curly hair was second leader's hair. Now he was sure that his hair did not fall out, but was shaved by someone. Needless to say, it must be Qin Haodong the gigolo. On the other side of the phone, seeing that Wang Desheng was silent, Che Xiaoxiao asked with concern, "Desheng, what's wrong with you? Is something wrong?" Wang Desheng said with annoyance, "Qin Haodong came last night and shaved my hair." He was too embarrassed to say that the hair on his lower body had been shaved as well. Che Xiaoxiao said in surprise, "What? How is this possible? There are so many bodyguards in your house. How can he get in?" "Nothing is impossible. That kid is very skilled," Wang Desheng said angrily. "Only he would do this to me. Even if he didn't come himself, he must have sent a master." Che Xiaoxiao said, "Desheng, in fact, you don't have to be so stiff with Qin Haodong. You two have no conflict, and we are classmates with Momo. Why do you always make things difficult for them? I know what I'm doing. It's none of your business," Wang Desheng said and hung up the phone with a snap. Looking at himself naked in the mirror, Wang Desheng said with a gloomy expression, "Are you warning me? But what can you do even if you shaved my hair? There is still no production of medicinal materials. In a few days, I will make your traditional Chinese medicine company go bankrupt." Suddenly, he felt something was wrong. He hurriedly put on his clothes, found a hat, and put it on his bald head. Then, he hurried out of the house with several bodyguards. When Wang Desheng arrived at the warehouse of the traditional Chinese medicine factory, he was almost blown up by the scene in front of him. He saw more than a dozen security guards lying on the ground, still sleeping. "Bastard, did I pay for you to sleep with me?" He cursed and kicked a security guard, but the security guard did not wake up. He turned over and was still sleeping. Wang Desheng said angrily to the bodyguards behind him, "Wake them up." Just then, the captain of the bodyguards hurried back from outside. He had been fighting with the young woman all night, and his face was still full of excitement. However, when he saw the scene in front of him, he was stunned. Were his men pigs? How could they sleep in front of the boss? "Bastard, where the hell have you been? Do you think I'm talking nonsense?" When Wang Desheng saw the captain of the bodyguards, he was even more furious and slapped him in the face. The captain covered his cheek and said, Boss, my mother is sick." Wang Desheng didn't want to listen to his explanation. He said angrily, "Cut the crap. Wake these people up, and see if there is anything missing in the warehouse." "Okay, I'll do it right away." The captain agreed, and vented his anger on the security guards. He punched and kicked them, and even poured cold water on them. Finally, all the security guards were woken up. When they saw Wang Desheng's livid face, they were completely dumbfounded. They didn't know how they had fallen asleep. "What the hell are you doing? Did the boss ask you to sleep?" The captain scolded. "Open the warehouse and see if there is anything missing." The security guards hurried to open the door of the warehouse. The captain took the lead to check if there were any missing medicinal materials. 5 minutes later, he ran out and said to Wang Desheng, Boss, it seems that some medicinal materials are missing." Wang Desheng slapped him in the face again and scolded, "Are they missing or not?" The captain said, "There are some missing but not too many." In fact, the security captain couldn't be blamed. They bought too many medicinal herbs yesterday. They didn't do any statistics and classification. They just piled them up in the warehouse. Now, although they felt a little less, they didn't know how much was missing or what medicinal herbs were missing. "Bastards, get out of here. Don't come to work from today on." In a rage, Wang Desheng directly asked the bodyguards to drive all the security guards out. He was sure that Qin Haodong had taken away the medicinal materials they needed. It was impossible to stop Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company's production, and tens of millions of yuan had been thrown away. At this time, Che Xiaoxiao hurried over and asked, "Desheng, what's wrong?" Wang Desheng took a deep breath, suppressed his anger, and said, "It's nothing. These bastards are sleeping on duty, and some medicinal materials are missing. It's just some medicinal materials. It's no big deal. Don't be angry and hurt your health." Che Xiaoxiao comforted him. The first batch of treasure tablet for Kidney of Hall of Medical Fame is ready. It will be sold in half an hour. Come with me and have a look. Okay, let's go and have a look. Wang Desheng nodded. He also knew that this was a big deal, so he followed Che Xiaoxiao to their sales point. The sales method adopted by Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame was exactly the same as that of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. They had set up 10 sales points in Jiangnan City and officially started selling at 10:58 in the morning. The recent success of the blood revival elixir had pushed the reputation of traditional Chinese medicine to the top. Many people now believed in traditional Chinese medicine very much, and more people chose traditional Chinese medicine when treating diseases. In addition, Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame had invested a lot of money in advertising, so the sales site was quite popular. Many kidney disease patients lined up to buy the treasure tablet for Kidney of Hall of Medical Fame, looking forward to the magical effect of the blood revival elixir. 2 hours later, the first batch of products had been sold out. Che Xiaoxiao said excitedly, "Desheng, it seems that you made the right choice." The traditional Chinese medicine industry is really promising. If this goes on, we will definitely make a lot of money. A smile appeared on Wang Desheng's face. However, if one observed carefully, the smile was full of helplessness and bitterness. It would be good if it was just to make money. Unfortunately, he had to do more than that. In the president's office of Tangmin Group, Lin Momo made a cup of tea and handed it to Qin Haodong. She asked, "Where did you get those medicinal materials?" Since the secret of his rebirth had been told to this woman, Qin Haodong didn't need to hide the secret of the storage ring. He stretched out his right hand, and a large bouquet of red roses appeared in front of Lin Momo. "Is this a magic trick?" Lin Momo asked with surprise and joy. While speaking, she took the roses in her hand and looked at them carefully. They were real roses with dewdrops on them. She sniffed and smelled the fragrance of the flowers. Qin Haodong didn't answer. His mind moved again, and the boss desk in front of Lin Momo suddenly disappeared. What's going on? Lin Momo reached out and touched the position of the boss desk. It was empty. It was not a trick. It really disappeared. Qin Haodong waved his hand, and the boss desk returned to its original position. He stretched out his hand and pointed to the tattoo-like storage ring on his finger. He said, "Momo, this is called a storage ring in the cultivation world. It has its own independent space and can store any inanimate things. Last night, I went to Wang Desheng's medicinal materials warehouse and took back the medicinal materials we needed." "Is this true? It's amazing." Lin Momo stroked the storage ring on Qin Haodong's finger and said, if she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed it was true. "Haodong, how long have you kept this bouquet of roses? Why are there dewdrops? They look like they have just been picked. Did you just buy them?" Qin Haodong said, "Of course not. The storage ring is a good thing. It's like an independent three-dimensional space. There's no time axis in it. For example, if you put a cup of hot tea in it, it will still be hot after 10 years. It won't change." "Great. With it, it's much more convenient to go shopping. You can buy whatever you want." Lin Momo took Qin Haodong's hand and said excitedly, "Do you still have this thing? I want one too." Qin Haodong was speechless. Women's thinking was really amazing. It was the first time he had heard that people wanted a storage ring for shopping. Storage rings are everywhere in the cultivation world, but they're treasures that can only be found by chance on Earth. "I'll bring one back for you when I find one," Qin Haodong said. "Even if you have one now, you can't use it. You have to wait until you become an official cultivator." To use a storage ring, one had to have sufficiently strong mental power. It was precisely because of this that one could use that storage ring. Chapter 332. Lin Momo asked eagerly, "When will you take me to cultivate?" Qin Haodong said, "You're too old now, and you've missed the best time for cultivation. If you cultivate directly, the effect will not be good. When I form the gold core, I'll give you enlightenment. Not only can you save a lot of cultivation time, but you can also reach the foundation realm. Well, I'll wait for you. Lin Momo was now full of desire for cultivation, not for anything else, but to be able to live with Qin Haodong and the little fellow. After lunch, she said to Qin Haodong, "It's time to change shifts. I'll go to the factory and have a look." According to Qin Haodong's previous anti-theft measures, the production of the blood revival elixir was divided into 3 shifts, and the leader of each shift had 1/3 of the formula. Even so, Lin Momo was still a little worried. Every time they took the medicine, she asked Lu Yage to supervise them. After all, it was a life-saving medicine, and there could be no mistakes. Lu Yage had been busy last night, and she had a rest during the day. Lin Momo was a little worried, so she decided to go and have a look by herself. Qin Haodong looked up at Lin Momo, and suddenly found that her glabella was a little dark, and there was a faint sign of blood. Was there any danger in the factory? Thinking about this, he said, "I'm free now. I'll go with you." All right then. Lin Momo and Qin Haodong walked to the medicine selection workshop of the factory. For the sake of safety, it was completely closed, and the 3-layer security door, made of fine steel, completely isolated it from the outside. The medicine selection process was very strict. There were only Lin Momo, who was in charge of supervision, the leader of the shift, and 2 pharmacists who were in charge of the medicine selection, as well as Qin Haodong, who temporarily followed them. In order to prevent the formula from leaking, the pharmacists were also strictly managed. Each group of pharmacists would leave after choosing 4 kinds of medicinal materials, and then the next group of pharmacists would come in. After Lin Momo arrived, she greeted the leader of the shift, took out his key, opened the safe in the corner, and took out the 1/3 of the formula he was responsible for. Then, she directed the 2 pharmacists to choose the medicine according to the type and dosage marked on the formula. After the first group of pharmacists finished their task and left, the second group of pharmacists came in. 3 yellow grass, 200 kilograms. The class leader shouted out the names of the herbs that needed to be selected and the dosage. Normally, the 2 pharmacists should immediately go and get the herbs according to the name of the medicine. However, one of the pharmacists had just taken 2 steps when he suddenly held his stomach and squatted on the ground, crying out in pain. "What's wrong with you?" another pharmacist asked. "Stomachache, I suddenly have a stomachache." Although the pharmacist was wearing a big mask, cold sweat could be seen dripping from his forehead. It was obvious that he was in great pain. Lin Momo walked to the man and asked with concern, "How are you? Are you okay?" The class monitor also came over and said, "Can you still hold on? If you can't hold on, I'll replace you immediately. We can't delay the production." "I'm fine, I'm much better now." The pharmacist covered his stomach and slowly stood up. Suddenly, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and a cold light flashed in his hand toward Lin Momo's neck. At the same time, the other pharmacist also rushed to the class monitor. He stabbed a dagger toward his face, and grabbed the formula in his hand with the other hand. Qin Haodong came to protect Lin Momo this time. He looked calm, but in fact he had been on high alert. At the moment when the pharmacist took out his knife, Qin Haodong had already come to Lin Momo's side. He raised his hand and grabbed the pharmacist's wrist. With a sound of bones cracking, the dagger fell to the ground. Then, Qin Haodong kicked the pharmacist's lower abdomen hard and directly sent him flying. After saving Lin Momo, Qin Haodong did not stop. He tiptoed, and the dagger on the ground flew up and directly shot at the other pharmacist's arm. The dagger was full of strength. It pierced through the pharmacist's arm, holding the knife like a flying knife. At the same time, the knife that was aimed at the class monitor fell on the air. The class monitor was just an ordinary person. He had never seen such a scene. At this time, he was so scared that he was stunned on the spot and did not know what to do. The injured pharmacist took advantage of this opportunity to snatch the formula from his hand. He then threw it back, and a spherical object the size of an egg hit the ground. After a loud bang, smoke rose everywhere. The thick smoke quickly filled the entire pharmacy. Everyone could only see a vast expanse of white in front of them, and they couldn't see anything. It's a smoke bomb. Although with his strong spirit, Qin Haodong could still feel the location of the person, he did not dare to chase after him with Lin Momo by his side. He took Lin Momo with one hand, and the class monitor with the other, and the three of them hid in the corner together. As soon as they hid, there was a burst of gunfire. Dense bullets were shot at the place where they had just been. It seemed that the purpose of the two people was not only to grab the formula, but also to assassinate Qin Haodong and Lin Momo. Lin Momo held Qin Haodong's hand nervously and asked, "What should we do? We can't see them, and they can't see us. Otherwise they would not shoot at the place just now. That person is just trying his luck. It would be best if he could kill us. I guess he has started to run for his life now." Qin Haodong said calmly, "Don't be nervous. When Saber hears the noise, they will come to help immediately. After all, this is our place." Sure enough, after the gunfire, there was no more movement. It seemed that the person had escaped. The explosion and gunfire immediately alerted the people outside. Saber and his men rushed in immediately. After the smoke extraction equipment was turned on, the smoke in the room slowly dissipated, and everyone regained their sight. "Boss, are you all right?" Saber and Sword came over and asked. Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, "I'm fine." Lin Momo said hurriedly, "Someone took our formula. Search the whole factory quickly, and see if we can find that person." Saber said, "Spear and his men are searching. He should not be able to escape." Qin Haodong said, "All this was carefully planned by them. They should have arranged a way of retreat in advance. It's too late to find him now." Sure enough, it did not take long for Spear and his men to run over and said, "Boss, we've searched everywhere, but we can't find that person." "Forget it. He ran away," Qin Haodong said as he stepped toward the pharmacist who had been kicked away by him. When he got closer, he found that the man was bleeding from his eyes, nose, and mouth. He was dead. It seemed that he was a man of sacrifice. He knew that he could not escape because he was injured, so he immediately took poison. Lin Momo said, "Our pharmacists are carefully screened. How could a killer sneak in?" Qin Haodong said, "This person is fake. I'm afraid the real pharmacist is dead." He squatted down as he spoke. First, he used a dagger to lift the mask on the dead man's face. Then he rubbed his chest a few times. Soon, he lifted a mask, revealing the face of a white European. This mask was exactly the same as the one used by the fake Tang Long. It was made of high-tech 3D nanomaterials, so it was hard to tell whether it was real or fake. After seeing the man's true face, Saber said angrily, "It's these guys from M Country again. Boss, do you want me to take some people to destroy their nest?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "It's necessary to fight back, but it's too early. It seems that Wilson Company is not the only one who is watching us. We can't be sure who did this." Lin Momo said, "These people are really crazy for the formula of the blood revival elixir. Fortunately, we divided the secret formula into 3 parts. Otherwise, they would have taken it away." Qin Haodong's nerves were suddenly touched by these words. He hurriedly said, "Saber, arrange someone to go to the homes of the other 2 leaders to have a look. If they are still there, bring them to the company immediately." Saber quickly asked Sword and Spear to leave the company with several security guards to find the other 2 substitute leaders. After that, he turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Boss, do you think they have already done something to the 2 substitute leaders?" Qin Haodong said, "If you were them, what would you do if you wanted to get a complete formula?" Saber thought for a moment and said, "I would definitely start with the 2 people who are resting first, because this will not arouse the company's intuition. Finally, I would get the last formula from the company, so that it would be complete. If they started with the company first, it would immediately arouse our vigilance, so it would not be easy to get the other 2. Qin Haodong said, "So if I'm right, the other 2 formulas should have fallen into the hands of the other party. After they succeeded, they would take the risk to get the last formula from the company." Lin Momo said nervously, "Haodong, they didn't kill the 2 substitute leaders, did they? Besides, the 3 formulas have been lost. Has our blood revival elixir been taken away by them? Qin Haodong held her in his arms, patted her on the back, and comforted her. Don't worry, it should not be as bad as you think. They only want the formula. They will not kill people if the conditions permit. What about our formula? If they take the formula of the blood revival elixir, won't our efforts be in vain? Qin Haodong smiled calmly and said, Don't worry, it's not that easy to take away my formula. It didn't take long for Sword and Spear to come back with the squad leader. However, both of them were in a coma and had to be carried back. One of them was Wang Xiaojiang, and the other was Jin Juyuan. They were both trustworthy employees, brought by Lin Momo from Lin's group. After putting them on the ground, Sword said, Boss, they are both in a coma. We can't wake them up no matter what. They were drugged by the other party. Qin Haodong felt their pulses, and took out silver needles to pierce several acupoints on their chests. About 5 minutes later, he withdrew the silver needles, and the two men slowly opened their eyes. Boss, why are we here? Wang Xiaojing asked in a daze. Tell me first, what happened to you? Qin Haodong asked. Wang Xiaojing said, I was watching TV at home. Suddenly, someone told me to pay for my water, so I opened the door. 2 people came in and tied me up. Then they gave me a small white pill. I don't know what happened after that. Jin Juyuan said, My situation is similar. 2 people tricked me into opening the door and gave me a small pill. I don't remember anything after that. Lin Momo asked nervously, Did you tell anyone about the formula? Formula? I don't think so. It's a company secret. Normally, I wouldn't tell anyone. Wang Xiaojiang said with some uncertainty, because he didn't remember anything after taking the pill. Jin Juyuan was the same. He didn't remember anything after taking the pill. Qin Haodong said, Don't ask. They took a kind of gene medicine with hallucinogenic effects. They must have told the other party the formula. Chapter 333. Hearing Qin Haodong's words, the two of them immediately became nervous. As the backbone members of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company, it was impossible for them not to know the importance of the formula. They quickly said, Boss. Qin Haodong understood what they meant. He waved his hand and said, This has nothing to do with you. Go back and have a rest. Don't delay work. After a moment of shock, their eyes were full of gratitude. They had thought that they would at least lose their jobs, or go bankrupt if they lost the formula. They didn't expect that Qin Haodong would turn it over without a word of blame. Everyone get into position. Qin Haodong dismissed the others, and went back to the president's office with Lin Momo. After closing the door, Lin Momo asked nervously, Haodong, is it really okay to lose the formula? Qin Haodong smiled and said, How can those foreigners understand the magic of traditional Chinese medicine? Although they have the formula, they still can't make the real blood revival elixir. Lin Momo asked in confusion, How is that possible? They have all 3 formulas in their hands. And we also made the medicine according to the formulas. Why can't they make it? Because I played a little trick inside, Qin Haodong said with a smile. To make the blood revival elixir, one of the ingredients was camphor wood powder. Did we use it when we made it? No. Lin Momo shook her head slowly. But we still made the blood revival elixir without it. Suddenly, she thought of something and said excitedly, Are you talking about the box? Qin Haodong nodded and said, Yes, that's why I emphasized that the blood revival elixir must be contained in a camphor wood box. The blood revival elixir will only become a real blood revival elixir after it absorbs the aura of the camphor wood box. So it's useless for them to get the formula. You're really cunning. As she said that, she hugged Qin Haodong and kissed him hard. Her worries and nervousness were all gone. Haodong, what will happen to the blood revival elixir if it lacks the camphor wood qi? Qin Haodong sneered. That's poison. In the large underground experimental base of M country, Garnett looked at the formula of the blood revival elixir on the big screen and laughed proudly. He turned to Davis next to him and said, What do you think, old man? My plan number 3 is much better than your plan number 2, right? Now I have the formula in my hands. Davis was unmoved. He took a puff on the cigar in his hand and said, I'm afraid it's not that simple. That guy from Huaxia is more cunning than we thought. Last time, Huang Weili also said that he got the formula of the blood revival elixir. In the end, I was still fooled by that brat. Don't compare me to that idiot. My formula was taken from the production line of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. How could it be fake? Old man, you are jealous of me. Do you know that? You are jealous. Davis turned around and told the technician next to him, Make the blood revival elixir for me according to this formula. The technician answered and started to work nervously. Before taking action, Davis had made sufficient preparations. There were all kinds of traditional Chinese medicine in the base. After receiving the order, the technicians nervously got busy. They followed the prescription and synthesized the medicine. After an hour, 3 blood revival elixirs were delivered to Davis. Boss, the medicine is ready, the technician said respectfully. Garnett nodded with satisfaction and glanced at Davis proudly. Then he ordered, Bring me an experimental subject. Soon, the bodyguard behind him brought a dull-looking young man over. It turned out that his experimental base had always used living people as experimental subjects. Garnett said, Give him the medicine. 2 technicians immediately came over, opened the young man's mouth, and stuffed 3 blood revival elixirs into his mouth. Old man, success is right in front of you. Are you jealous of me? After Garnett finished speaking, he laughed proudly again. However, before he could finish laughing, the young man in front of him suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, he began to bleed from his 7 orifices. He fell to the ground, twitched a few times, and died completely. Davis, who didn't seem surprised by the scene in front of him, said sarcastically, Garnett, is this what you want me to remember you for? How is this possible? I took the formula from the production site of Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. It can't be wrong. Garnett was very surprised. The moment he had gotten the formula, he had thought that he had succeeded. He hadn't expected this result. He turned his head and growled at the technician. Did you make a mistake? Faced with his murderous eyes, the technician quickly explained. Boss, we didn't make a mistake at all. We made the medicine strictly according to the formula. Garnett shouted, Do it again. Remember, you must strictly follow the formula. There can be no mistakes. The technician nodded and led the people to work again. This time, they were more cautious and serious than the last time. However, the result was the same. After the person who had been used to test the medicine ate it, he soon bled from his 7 orifices and died. Davis gently blew out a smoke ring and said, How was it, old man? I told you that the kid was not easy to deal with. Your plan number 3 has failed. Qin Haodong, I must kill you. Garnett was like a mad beast, scaring his subordinates into backing off. Davis was not moved at all. He said lightly, I've seen it now. It's almost impossible to get the formula from Qin Haodong. What we have to do now is to destroy him and the whole traditional Chinese medicine. Then there will be no threat to our development. Lin Momo had been browsing large foreign websites for the past 2 days. She paid special attention to the official website of Wilson's company, but she didn't find any movement about the formula. It seemed that Qin Haodong was right. It was useless even if they got the formula. Qin Haodong sat on the sofa and put a green herb leaf into his mouth. He chewed it slowly, closed his eyes, and tasted it carefully. He had been trying hard to find the medicine that was missing in the 8 treasures kidney-nourishing pill. After a day, he had tried more than 100 kinds of herbs. Although he hadn't found the missing medicine, he felt that he was getting closer and closer to success. He also had a lot of good prescriptions for kidney nourishing, but the herbs needed for the 8 treasures kidney nourishing pill were more common and easier to mass produce. So he tried to make up for the missing medicine. At this time, the door opened and Lu Yage walked in. She said angrily, Dr. Qin, President, today the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame went out for a free clinic again. I heard that it will be a free clinic for 3 days. I don't know what they are going to do. As the president's assistant, of course, she knew the recent relationship between the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame and Tangmin Traditional Chinese Medicine Company. The Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame always tried to ride on her shoulders, which made her extremely disgusted. Qin Haodong spat out the dregs in his mouth and said, "They can do whatever they want." In short, free clinic is a good thing for traditional Chinese medicine. Lin Momo said, "Isn't your Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association holding a free clinic?" Last time, the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame couldn't lift its head. "There's no need for that. We are all in the field of traditional Chinese medicine. There's no need to embarrass each other. Last time they asked for it. It's not our fault," Qin Haodong said. Moreover, the doctors of the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association are also part-time. They have old and young people to take care of. They need to make money by seeing patients. We can't always take them out for free clinics. Lin Momo said, "But I see Mr. Gao and the others in the Chinese Medicine Practitioner Association all day, as if it is their own home. Don't they need to go out to make money?" Qin Haodong said, "These old people are different. They are the leading figures in the traditional Chinese medicine field in Jiangnan. Generally, if there is no special disease, they don't need to do anything. Their disciples have already supported the medical center." On the side of the Hall of Medical Fame, Che Xiaoxiao always had a happy smile on her face. These days, she had been with Wang Desheng, which made her feel extremely happy. At the same time, the sales of the treasure tablet for kidney of the Hall of Medical Fame were getting better day by day. According to the market feedback they had received, this medicine was indeed very effective in the treatment of kidney disease and had won widespread praise from the market. Although it was not as good as the blood revival elixir, it was definitely a rare good medicine. This made her very happy. In addition to making a lot of money, it seemed that she had already seen the day when she and Wang Desheng would enter the marriage hall. Because of the wide popularity of the treasure tablet for kidney, the reputation of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame had also risen. This time, more and more people came to the free clinic, which had achieved very good results. Che Xiaoxiao sat in the office and kept browsing the web. Looking at the overwhelming praise, she said proudly, "Desheng, now our business is getting better and better. It seems that you chose the Chinese medicine industry right." Wang Desheng came to Che Xiaoxiao with a glass of red wine and said, "Of course, I'm so excellent. How could I make a mistake?" He picked up the glass and took a sip. Then he said, "Xiaoxiao, you don't have to stay here. Go back and cook some good dishes. Let's have a good celebration." "Well, I'll go back now." Che Xiaoxiao stood up, looked at him and said, "Aren't you going to accompany me?" Wang Desheng said, "I have to wait for the doctor to come back. He has been working hard outside all day. We have to express our condolences." "Well, I'll wait for you at home. Remember to come back early," Che Xiaoxiao said and left the office. The smile on Wang Desheng's face slowly disappeared. His expression became extremely complicated. At first there was a flash of guilt, then it became ruthlessness and determination. Near evening, the Hall of Medical Fame's free clinic ended. Many doctors left one after another. Only Zhang Tianhe quietly went to Wang Desheng's office. Turning around and closing the door, he said in a low voice, "Young Master Wang, I've done as you said today. I've made some changes to several prescriptions. You'll see the results tomorrow." At this time, Wang Desheng's face had changed into a warm smile. He said, "Not bad, Mr. Zhang. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's my duty to do things for young Master Wang," Zhang Tianhe said with a flattering expression. "Young Master Wang, when will you transfer the remaining $5 million to me? I always keep my word. I'll pay you $10 million. I'll transfer it to you now. I've already bought you a plane ticket. I'll ask my secretary to send it over later. You can go to M country tonight." Wang Desheng put a cup of tea in front of Zhang Tianhe. "Mr. Zhang, drink some water first." Then he took out his cell phone and began to transfer the money. Zhang Tianhe's face was full of satisfaction. Since he had been humiliated by Qin Haodong in Jiangnan Hospital, his reputation in the upper class was no longer what it used to be. That was why he wanted to find an opportunity to spend the rest of his life in the United States. Years of savings and the $10 million promised by Wang Desheng were enough for his family to live a happy life in M country. He was very satisfied with all this. While looking forward to the future, he reached for the teacup in front of him. Chapter 334. After running around for a day, Zhang Tianhe was really thirsty. He drank all the tea in the cup, but not long after the fragrant tea entered his stomach, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. He raised his hand to cover his chest and immediately realized what had happened. He pointed at Wang Desheng, but the sharp pain in his heart made him unable to say a word. Wang Desheng put down the phone in his hand. He had just been pretending. There was no need for him to transfer $5 million to a dying man. How is it? Does it hurt? But it doesn't matter. You just have to bear with it. It will be over soon. He smiled and said, "In fact, I don't care about the $5 million, but the mouth of a dead man is the safest, so you can't blame me." Zhang Tianhe's eyes widened and his body stiffened. He stopped breathing with a face full of unwillingness. He had never thought that he would be tricked by a young man after spending most of his life in this world. Wang Desheng took a document from the drawer, grabbed Zhang Tianhe's finger, and pressed a fingerprint on it. Then he wiped Zhang Tianhe's finger clean and put the document away. Only then did he shout outside, "Someone come quickly, Dr. Zhang is sick." Hearing his shout, the secretary and bodyguards immediately ran in from outside. Wang Desheng pointed at Zhang Tianhe and said, "Dr. Zhang has a heart attack. Hurry up and send him to the hospital." The bodyguards hurriedly carried Zhang Tianhe into the car, and Wang Desheng followed. They rushed to Jiangnan Hospital together and quickly carried him into the emergency room. Wang Desheng lit a cigarette. Although he looked very anxious, he was actually very sure that Zhang Tianhe had drunk his medicine. Even a divine weapon could not save him. Sure enough, half an hour later, the ceiling light of the emergency room went out. The doctor in charge of the rescue came out and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Wang Desheng. We did our best." Wang Desheng grabbed him by the collar and shouted in a deep and crazy voice, "What? You're such a big hospital, and you can't even cure a heart attack? Dr. Zhang is the best doctor in our company. You have to save him no matter what." The attending doctor quickly shouted, "Wang Desheng, don't get excited. Dr. Zhang had a sudden myocardial infarction, and he had stopped breathing when we arrived. We really can't do anything." Wang Desheng seemed to calm down a little. He let go of the doctor's collar and said apologetically, "I'm sorry. I was too excited." Just then, a middle-aged woman in her 50s and a young man in his 20s ran in from outside. They were Zhang Tianhe's wife, Li Lizhen, and son Zhang Bing. "What about Zhang Tianhe? How is he?" Li Lizhen asked nervously. Wang Desheng glanced at the attending doctor. The attending doctor understood and hurried over to explain. "Mrs. Zhang, I'm really sorry. We've tried our best, but Dr. Zhang had a sudden myocardial infarction. We couldn't save him." "What? You said that Zhang Tianhe is dead?" The attending doctor nodded. "My condolences." At this time, the young nurse pushed Zhang Tianhe's body out of the emergency room. Li Lizhen and Zhang Bing immediately threw themselves on the body and wailed. After the two of them cried for a while, the bodies were taken away. Wang Desheng stepped forward and said, "Mrs. Zhang, the dead can't come back to life. My condolences." Li Lizhen cried, "Young Master Wang, the old man was the backbone of our family. What will my son and I do now that he's gone?" Wang Desheng said, "Mrs. Zhang, don't worry. Dr. Zhang is a doctor of our Hall of Medical Fame. I will definitely take care of his funeral. I will also give you and your child a pension." In fact, Zhang Tianhe had been drinking and having fun all these years. He had had a lot of women. Li Lizhen and he seemed to be in harmony, but they were actually not. They often went to various high-end clubs. She was sad after Zhang Tianhe's death, but only a little. Most of it was just an act. When she heard Wang Desheng say that he could take care of the funeral and give her a sum of money, Her crying immediately weakened. She said, "Thank you so much, young Master Wang." Wang Desheng said, "Mrs. Zhang, but I also have a condition. Dr. Zhang's funeral must be handled in a low-key manner. He must be cremated before noon." Li Lizhen said in surprise, Isn't this too rushed? Besides, our old man is dead. He should have a grand funeral. It can't be handled simply." Wang Desheng said, "Mrs. Zhang, here's the thing. Think about it from my point of view. Dr. Zhang was a famous doctor of our Hall of Medical Fame. He was also famous in Jiangnan City. He was just 65 years old this year. If it was said that he died of illness, it would have a very bad impact on the reputation of our Hall of Medical Fame. Many people would say that our Hall of Medical Fame can't even cure our own people. How can we cure others' illnesses? So I hope you can handle Mr. Zhang's funeral in a low-key manner and cremate him as soon as possible." Li Lizhen shook her head and said, "That won't do. Death is the most important thing. I have to give the old man a grand funeral. I can't agree to your request." Wang Desheng said, "I understand your feelings, but Dr. Zhang is dead. No matter how grand the funeral is, he can't come back to life, right? Well, if you are willing to agree to my condition, I will give you 1 million yuan as compensation." Li Lizhen shook her head and said, "No, I can't agree. This is not about money." Wang Desheng smiled and said, 2 million yuan. This, Boss Wang, you're making things difficult for me. 5 million yuan. Wang Desheng shouted the number and said, "Mrs. Zhang, don't forget that it's good for the living to live a good life. I think Dr. Zhang also wants you and Zhang Bing to live a better life. 5 million is not a small number. You have to seize the opportunity." Li Lizhen turned her head and looked at her son. After the mother and son looked at each other, they nodded slightly. 8 million. Li Lizhen said, "If you give us 8 million, I will do as you say. Tomorrow, I will handle the funeral in a low-key manner and cremate the body." Wang Desheng hesitated for a moment and said, "Well, 8 million it is. Anyway, Dr. Zhang died in our company. This is a little compensation for him." He took out a check and gave it to Li Lizhen. "This is 2 million. Take it to handle the funeral first. After the cremation tomorrow, I will immediately transfer the 6 million to your account." "Thank you, young Master Wang." Li Lizhen took the check and received an additional 8 million yuan. This imperceptibly diluted the sadness in her heart that was not much to begin with. Wang Desheng left the hospital with a sneer on his face. According to the agreement, he should give Zhang Tianhe another $5 million. Now he had spent 8 million yuan, which was more than half of it. In order to get the other 6 million that Wang Desheng had promised, the next morning, Li Lizhen and Zhang Bing handled Zhang Tianhe's funeral in a low-key manner. They didn't even tell their relatives and friends. They hastily handled the funeral and sent Zhang Tianhe to the cremator. This time, Wang Desheng did not break his promise. He directly paid Li Lizhen and her son 6 million yuan and told them to keep it a secret. Li Lizhen had no objection to this. It was not a glorious thing to know. It was best to keep it a secret. At the same time, the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame once again held a free clinic in the health square. Zhang Tianhe's absence did not attract anyone's attention. After all, everyone had something to do. Zhang Tianhe was not the only one who was absent. There was another doctor who had asked for leave. However, not long after the free clinic began, there was a sudden disturbance outside the crowd. A group of people in mourning clothes rushed in, carrying a dead body behind them. The young man in the lead pointed to the doctors of the Hall of Medical Fame and shouted, "Where is Zhang Tianhe? F***CK Zhang Tianhe, come out." Che Xiaoxiao happened to be there. She hurried forward and asked, "Sir, don't be angry. What happened?" The young man glanced at her and asked, "Who are you?" Che Xiaoxiao said, "I am Che Xiaoxiao, the president of the Huaxia Hall of Medical Fame. Tell me what you want." "So it was you who created this Hall of Medical Fame and killed my father. Today, I want you to pay with your life," the young man said as he rushed forward and slapped Che Xiaoxiao in the face. Che Xiaoxiao didn't expect him to hit someone. The slap was solid, and her cheeks immediately became red and swollen. Fortunately, the others stepped forward in time to pull the young man away. Otherwise, she would have been hurt even more. What right do you have to hit people? Che Xiaoxiao said angrily. My father just had a little stomachache yesterday. He took the traditional Chinese medicine prescribed by Zhang Tianhe and died this morning. Shouldn't you be responsible? Today, I want you to pay with your life for my father's. The young man was about to pounce on Che Xiaoxiao again, but he was stopped by the others. That's impossible. You're slandering us. Che Xiaoxiao said. Dr. Zhang is a famous doctor of our Hall of Medical Fame. Even if his prescription can't cure the disease, it can't kill people. She really thought so. Compared with Western medicine, traditional Chinese medicine had very few side effects. Even if there was a misdiagnosis, generally speaking, it wouldn't kill people. My father is here. What else do you have to quibble about? The young man said, pointing to the body behind him. At the same time, he took out a prescription from his pocket, pointed at the handwriting on it, and said, This prescription was written by Zhang Tianhe, and his name is written on it. You can't deny it even if you want to. Another middle-aged man behind the young man shouted, Since you're a woman, we won't argue with you. Hurry up and call Zhang Tianhe out. Che Xiaoxiao saw the prescription and was sure that it was written by Zhang Tianhe. However, in the face of this situation, she couldn't do anything. Zhang Tianhe was already dead. Wang Desheng had gone to deal with Zhang Tianhe's funeral and asked her to lead the free clinic. She hadn't expected to encounter this kind of thing as soon as she arrived. Although she had been the manager of the dreamy Jiangnan Hotel for 5 years, she had never encountered such a medical dispute. For a moment she was at a loss. Just as Che Xiaoxiao didn't know what to do, there was another commotion outside the crowd. Bastard Zhang Tianhe, hurry up and come out. I want him to pay with his life for my man's death. While they were talking, another group of people rushed in carrying a dead body. The leader was a middle-aged woman in her 40s. After rushing into the crowd, she waved the prescription in her hand and cried, Yesterday, my man came here to see the doctor. That bastard Zhang Tianhe said that his liver was very hot, so he prescribed a few doses of medicine and said that he would be fine after taking it. Who knew that not long after he took it, my man would die? Seeing this scene, Che Xiaoxiao's beautiful face turned pale. The death of one person was already too much for her to deal with. Now that 2 people had died, how was she going to deal with this? Zhang Tianhe, pay with my son's life. Before she could recover, there was another cry from outside the crowd. Then another person pushed in with another body. The third victim had appeared, and the victim's family was still looking for Zhang Tianhe. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.